whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
So it's going to be, or we're coming up to low, so we're at the stage of the tide where it really slows down, the tide slows down. That lets the swell come through a lot better, and so then it means that it'll start to pick up a bit again. So Noah in a real useful position here now, 2 scores under his belt straight away. He can just sit here now and surf against his own 2 waves. And we've got both white and yellow up and riding there. White is going along. This is a bit more of a groveler wave, hasn't quite hit the bank at that angle. Eli Perrins-Davis, he's gone onto a fast little inside section here. It's going to allow another tap. Jams that tail as hard as he can. And Noah Capps is going to go on a smaller one here. Karate chops the lip, and there's a closeout section here. Great preservation of momentum through those turns.
Absolutely. Noah really getting that nose of his board nice and high above the lip on each of those turns.
It's impressive surfing to grovel and be able to hold on to style at the same time. Style is something very important to Noah. Lots of surfers down here this afternoon enjoying some fine rest bay conditions. Now, one thing we haven't talked about, Rob, in as much detail yet, what are the chances of a surfer, possibly even one of the surfers that we're looking at today, making it into the Olympics? Do you know much about that?
Yeah, I'd say we do.
A British surfer?
It's certainly an ambition, isn't it, of many of the surfers we're seeing here today. And I would say at this point, I would hazard a guess that there will be a British surfer in the Olympics.
Do you reckon?
It relies on a few surfers fulfilling their potential and a bit of luck going their way, but yeah, I can't see any reason why it would be the case.
So the situation is, right, that the Olympic 20 men, 20 women, is populated by 10 surfers from the WSL in the men's and in the women's, right? So that means that there's therefore 10 men's places and 12 women's places in the Olympics, right? Now, a couple of catches to the rule here, right? Or a couple of what would we call them? Caveats that you've got to watch out for, right? If 2 surfers from your country qualify, that's it. You can't qualify.
And I think that's the thing that's going to play into the
That's what's going to play into the Brits' hands.
Because we don't actually have anybody on the WSL, and quite a few
no
of
one on the WSL. So
those spots have gone to the WSL surfers. So from France, you see the likes of Jeremy Flores,
Michel Perez,
Wanduru.
Yeah, so they'll be in it. So then we've got Now we have got a couple of surfers who kind of...
Frederico Moraes has already qualified.
Well, yeah, but that's different. I'll explain to you why that is now, right? Moraes is not qualified because of the CT. He's qualified because they're then giving out continental places, right, after the CT, based on the top finishing surfer from the Pan American Games, South American continental place, top finishing surfer from the Pan American Games. Then you've got top finishing European, top finishing Asian, top finishing American, and top finishing Oceania from the 2019 World Games. So that's how Moraes qualified, top European in that. Right, so that actually means that you need 2 Portuguese on the CT now to get CT places for the Portuguese, but that won't happen.
What would happen, however, if Frederico Moraes
Double
qualified through the WSL? Would that place go to the ISA?
No, it doesn't. No.
So it renders him impossible to qualify through the WSL.
So he's qualified through the ISA. Right. So then, that's where we've got an Israeli surfer, quite a few interesting nationalities qualified through those methods. I'll show you who they are now. Got my little black book. Right, so we're working out where the Brits might come in. As we wait for scores in this heat, as soon as we get scores in this heat, we'll give you them. Noah Caps with a big roundhouse wrap around there. So,
just whilst you're finding that, Tom, we have 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this heat. In 3rd place, as it stands, is our surfer in yellow, Ruben Keach, needing a 4.01 to move into 2nd. In 2nd position is Finn Collins, needing a 6.55 to move into 1st. And out in front, Noah Caps in 1st with a 9.83 combination.
Caps is doing well. So, already qualified, right? Here we go. Ramzi Boukheim from Morocco in the men's.
Looking at your list.
Lucas Messinas, Peru, men's, from winning the Pan American Games.
Now, they've already qualified, right?
Already done. Geordie's qualified, but that's because he can't be touched by any other sappers on the CT. So, Moraes has qualified through the ISA. Shun Murakami qualified through the ISA from Japan. I was really hoping Oni Anwar would make that, the Indonesian surfer, and Billy Stick, Oceania.
So
Billy Stick
the Japanese surfer has qualified with the Asian card for that one.
Big backhand turn from Noah Caps up there. Surfer in. Gilmore and Fitzgibbons, Australian ladies, are already guaranteed, and then there's Daniela Rochas from Peru, who won the Pan American Games. So those guys are all locked down, right? And that means that other surfers from those countries, the countries are filling their 2 surfer quota quickly. We're going to see Aussies, Americans, we're going to see French, we're going to see Portugal, we're going to see Spain, we're going to see a lot of these countries top out quickly.
That list thus far, though, doesn't look that promising for British surfers, because although we're seeing the likes of Gilmore and Fitzgibbons from the ladies' side of the draw qualifying and taking those places, you'd expect to see a few more of the supposed big surfing nations, America.
You're right about
Brazil,
that, but they'll get their spots, because on the CT now, the reason why Gilmore and Fitzgibbons have made it is because they're streets ahead of all the other Aussies. But there's going to be, we've got Caroline Marks, Lakey Peterson and Carissa Moore. 2 of them are definitely going. So the only reason they're not definite yet is we don't know who's going to finish top out of Caroline
And you'd
Marks
imagine Tatiana Weston Webb for Brazil, and Silvana Lima
for Brazil. So those places are going to fit out. We've got Ruben Keach up and riding here, needing a 4.01 and putting a couple of turns in.
And that's 4 minutes remaining in this heat. So the surfer in 3rd, Ruben Keach, is going to need to either clock a score with that last wave or get back out the back as quickly as he possibly can. As we feel that sea breeze just come in, and that to me, Tom, signals the change of the tide. Quite often the wind comes in with the tide here.
The wind turns with the tide here, but it's not just, you don't need the tide to actually turn to come back in, you just need that pull of the tide to stop. So it means we're approaching Oh, my mic. We're approaching stable water, and when we approach stable water, the wind can sometimes pick up here. So, oh, my mic's working again. Here we go. Right then. This is why I'm saying that it is possible. I think it's going to be harder in the ladies, right? But I think that why a Brit could make it into the Olympics is that there is, after you've filled these places out, you're left with 6 slots still available to the 2020 ISA Games finishers. And you have to get into the top 6 of the ISA 2020 Games, but technically you've got to get into the top 6 with the exception of anyone from any country that's already got their 2, and anyone who's, you know, if a country's already had 1 qualify. So you look at Israel there, right? You can finish behind 1 Israeli and they'll still have their place, but you can't, if you finish behind 2 Israelis, the place will come down to you. So a Brit is going to need to, that's how it's going to happen.
As we see
And it could be any of these surfers here, they've got to make the British team for the 2020 Games. Then when they get to the 2020 Games, they've got to finish in the top 6, notwithstanding Australians, Americans, Brazilians, French. You know, so there's a few of those countries in front of them. And that's how it's going to work. So okay. I think you're right, it's going to be a Brit. I think it is more likely in the men's than in the ladies, even though we've got brilliant surfers in the ladies coming up later today.
Okay, so...
And it's just because of the fact that you've got qualifiers from odd countries in the ladies. Now, the other thing I was going to say, Sofia Milanovic winning the ISA Worlds.
I loved it.
Coming out of retirement and winning the ISA Worlds, but not able to qualify because Daniela Rochas has done it through the Pan American Games. Because from the ISA Worlds, Latin American qualifiers couldn't qualify.
It's a very complicated system, but
it's complicated.
To bring it back to a more local level, throw some names.
It's going to be Radarava who's going to make it for sure.
Radarava, Porthcawl's own.
That's only because Callum Thomas has decided not to put his hat in the ring. Isn't that right, Cal?
Yeah, I decided to hang my boots up.
So, from a British perspective...
Yeah. 1 minute remaining in this heat. So, situation change? No. Ruben Keach. But the scores have increased for white and red in this heat now. So Ruben Keach is now in yellow, is going to need a 4.67 as we count this heat down. Yellow, Ruben Keach, a 4.67 needed. Ruben Keach in yellow, you need a 4.67. The set came through. It would be entirely manageable, but that little bit of textured surface now with the onshore wind, Robbo.
Conditions have changed dramatically in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And as this heat closes down and we welcome in the next heat, which will be the let me get this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that horn noise signals the end of semi-final number 2 in the under-18 boys division, and we move on.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
Now, I don't know how that works if all of the top 30, well, they can't, can they? Only 20 of the top 30 could possibly be from countries that have already qualified. So
it's interesting. However, again,
so you've got to send someone who can get into the top 30.
Right, and
he can.
Well, he can, and he's a former world junior champion. Always featured very highly on the WQS when he was surfing.
Yeah. I mean, Richard Grove went over to Australia like 10, 20 years ago or something, and when Jay Quinn was a junior, and Jay Quinn was staying with Saito at Avalon and, you know, surfing with him every day because he used to drive for Quicksilver. So it's a surfer.
Well, I remember being down in Hossegor as a Grom, and each and every year Jay Quinn would turn up for the Ripkill Pro there during the summer, and he'd always place really, really highly. So this is a surfer with great pedigree.
Older brother Maz, absolute ripper, made the CT briefly, and Holly Quinn as well is a ripper.
Yes.
And I didn't know about the Wales connection, but I remember in the late 90s it must have been, when Maz was doing the QS, surfing Lafatania with them, and you know, in one of the like off days between, because they used to have like big 3 QSs all in a row, you know, and he goes, "Oh, is that a Welsh accent?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "My mother's from Barry." Pre-Gavin and Stacey, obviously.
Barry Bados.
So that's the connection, mother from Barry. Tatiana Weston Webb, right, code changing to surf for Brazil. Kanoa Igarashi going to surf for Japan. And the Japanese are absolutely thrilled because they've got a guy that wins CTs. Will we be thrilled as Brits if a Brit who's raised in another country does it?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would. I'm sure there's people that feel it's perhaps taking the spot of someone born and raised here, but I have absolutely no problem with it at all. I'd like to see someone flying that Union Jack, and even better, a Welsh Dragon, representing the country in the Olympics.
And especially, you know, as we're speaking about Jay, he is living in the UK as well right now, so he's not just coming over for events, he's competing on the UK tour.
Yeah, he's what I would describe as of Wales as much as from Wales. Yeah, the surfers from Wales or the surfers of Wales. He is a surfer of Wales.
Yeah, he's luckily living in Cornwall, probably getting a lot of waves. Shame not to see him here today, tearing it up.
Doesn't have to come and surf the Welsh in Mike again. 3 foot freezing fresh west of a May Day weekend, does he?
No,
but he does.
He comes down, shows his face, and he surfs, well, better than anything I've ever seen. I've never seen. There's a few boys here today, but I still think his standard, and there's a few other boys that.
Great Rio there from Lucas Skinner.
There's a few British guys right now. You got Luke Dillon, who I think
he's doing the QS, isn't he? I watched Luke Dillon in Crewe the other day. Got through a good couple of heats at Ujung Bokor in Crewe. You ever been there, Cal?
No, I am luckily been there.
That is such a hard wave to surf, you know. And I saw that Gabriel Medina was in that contest, and Luke Dillon got through more rounds than Gabriel Medina.
Oh, I remember following that event, and he made some rounds, and he's doing well on the QS.
Very challenging wave to make the right decisions on, and I saw Gabe Medina's heat there, and he took off so much further up the point than anyone else normally surfs that place. And then, but he just didn't manage to get through his heat because he couldn't choose the right waves. But Luke Dillon was getting the waves further down the point. It's a really weird point. It's like you catch the wrong wave and you end up running up a dry reef. You catch another wrong wave and you end up running straight into deep water and you get stuck in a rip. Luke Dillon knew exactly the right waves to catch. He must have gone there for some time before and learned to surf the place. Jonathan Gonzalez from the Canary Islands really stood out in that contest as well.
He's a solid surfer, and he's got great form. He keeps himself fit. You see him.
Then he got through a few heats in the Philippines as well.
Yeah, he's.
So these are the contests that you use on the QS to build up your rating so that you can get yourself into the bigger ones.
Yeah, he's trying to get into the higher stars now. Maybe next year he'll get into some of the maybe 6 stars or.
Yeah.
maybe lucky to get into 10 stars if he has a good run at the start of next year.
But to go into the ISAs then, do you think if they'll pick him?
Well, I'm not sure what the politics are about it, but hopefully he'll have a chance, because I think he's got great potential.
So just taking that debate back again that we were having, right? We've said what we said about Jay Quinn. So Shun Murakami has qualified for Japan in the men's, right? Tatiana Weston-Webb is inevitably going to make it for the ladies for Brazil. So that means that the other spots are going to go to the C tiers, right? So we're going to have Silvana Lima make it, and we're going to have Kanoa Igarashi make it. So if you're Hiroto Arai from Japan, are you tamping that Kanoa Igarashi changes nationality? And if you're Tania Hinkle from Brazil, are you tamping that Tatiana Weston-Webb has gone and got another passport, or or do you just think, well, that's that, you should have tried to beat him?
Yeah, if you're better than them, you'd beat them. I think I just seen someone pop an air through the glare.
Pop an air through the glare.
I'm almost positive. I seen the board flying.
For the viewers at home, our commentary position here is straight into the glare, so it's really, really hard.
We are.
Surfers go to the south of the contest area for us to tell colours.
We are Rosette.
We are Rosette. When you sit in Rosette and the ball hits your head, that's Zamora. So we've got a decent bit of size going on. We'll bring a situation now for this heat as soon as the screen refreshes. Not least for the surfers to be able to hear it.
But as we're speaking about the Olympic Games, I think that Britain as a whole is getting a much better backing for surfing. The funding's getting better. The wave in Bristol, and I think there's one in Edinburgh opening.
Oh, Edinburgh. Yeah, and thanks in no small part to the work of Dave Reed and the UKPSA. Today is the Welsh Pro, sponsored by Gower College, Swansea.
Yeah,
Callum Thomas here, former alumni of that place. In come a couple of scores for us here now then. Let's have a look. We have got, do you know what, Cal? The air into the glare, I think you were right. We just got the highest score of the entire competition. And I think it was that wave in the glare that we were just watching. Who do you think it was?
Is his dad a good longboarder?
He's half decent on a longboard, his dad is, yeah. It was Lucas Skinner. Judge 3 threw a 9.5 at that one. It's an 8.83.
Young Lucas Skinner.
8.83. Lucas's backup is a 4.67, so both second and third are now comboed in this heat. Arthur Randall, stylish natural foot we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I've seen him doing well today.
Sitting in second. And Anto Sykes is in third. Now Anto Sykes needs a 3.61 to jump up into second, but they're both comboed if they want to get into first after that wave.
Luckily for these heats, 2 people progress every round. It's 4-man heats, 2 guys progress, and it's a lovely day here in West Bay, South Wales. Joined by Tom Anderson, myself, Callum Thomas, and
Rob Blythe is. I think Rob Blythe's gone to the loo, has he? After all that healthy water he was drinking through the afternoon.
Hopefully on a coffee run.
Yeah. Rob Blythe, of course, is hiding from the rugby scores today. He's going to watch both games tonight in his house, he reckons, on record.
But he's looking forward to them. He's going to be on edge. No one's allowed to talk to him. He's hiding himself from everyone.
And he's actually quite lucky because we haven't got a strong enough mobile phone signal.
It's terrible down here. I don't know how.
To be able to update things. So I was trying to catch the Wrexham score earlier.
I have 1 bar by my van and that's about it.
And I couldn't get anywhere near the Wrexham score. They were in a big FA Cup game against Chesterfield. No joy. So we've got the swell is going to pick up a good bit now, I think, with this onshore wind is going to push it in, and as the tide comes up now, I think we're gonna see some decent waves. We have lost the cleanliness that it had.
It is Lucas Skinner again with plenty of speed. Reverse didn't quite come out of it, and somebody split the peak. I think it was Arthur Randall with a nice first turn.
We got a score dropping for yellow.
Some fantastic surfing here today.
3 minutes and 46 seconds left in this heat. Scores dropping for yellow, so yellow needs a 3.61 and a score is going to drop for them. So this is Anto Sykes, 3.61 needed. Will Anto Sykes get the 3.61?
Welcome everyone who's live on, I think we're streaming on Facebook and on UK Pro Surf Tour. Can you all give us a like and a share and try and get this live stream out there?
A couple of scores dropping now then. We just had a little delay on the score of Anto Sykes, which is going to be important for the heat situation, and Arthur Randall also rode another wave. So currently Anto Sykes needs a 3.61 to pass into second. Comboed for first, both yellow and red are comboed for first in this. Lucas Skinner having posted an 8.83, and up and riding here. This is Anto Sykes, and looking for that 3.61. I'm not quite sure if that is going to bring in the 3.61. Coming up after this, the second semi-final. We've got 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and then we got quite a bit of Porthcawl action coming up. We've got some of the girls. We've got some Porthcawl girls going to be surfing, and we're going to be giving big shout outs. Here goes Lucas Skinner. Anto Sykes the other way. Lucas Skinner pops the fins. Anto Sykes' wave runs out. So it is looking like if he didn't drop the score on the fifth wave, which we are still waiting for, then and that score is going to drop, and that isn't going to be the 3.61. So yellow drops a 2.3, and then another 2.37. So we've got quite a few waves of yellow coming in. So each of those last attempts by yellow have ended up in the high twos, low threes, and we've got coming up to the last minute of the heat. Anto Sykes is going to need, he has now reduced the requirement though. So Anto Sykes in yellow, you need a 3.25. Anto Sykes in yellow, you need a 3.25. Lucas Skinner, you can do whatever you want. And here we go. Anto Sykes is laying into this one, gets his fins up, so that will...
I think that might have been Arthur Randall.
Is that Arthur Randall, was it?
Yeah. Nice.
We've got scores dropping for Arthur Randall though, and he is going to put the requirement up again for Anto Sykes here. So a score for Arthur Randall has just dropped to a 3.3, so Anto Sykes now needs a 4.05. There's 20 seconds remaining.
There's
so
a set
I think it's going to be a tall order. There is a set though. So Anto Sykes is going to be needing something in the 4 or 5 range in this set. 10 seconds. Will he get one?
Somebody on the corner of the left.
5.
They faded right.
3, 2, 1. And this concludes the first semi-final of the under-14 boys. Scores are going to drop. Results are going to be in.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
Nice forehand carve.
Finn Gillespie.
Waits for it to stand up. Nice close-out section snap.
Yeah, so we're going to be keeping an eye out in the under 14 girls now. Ruby Lewis in the yellow. Ruby Lewis. I'm not sure if this is her first comp even. Ruby is the daughter of somebody who, if you surf Porthcawl Point regularly, you might hate. Gary Lewis. Gary Lewis.
Top dog, is he?
Top dog in the point. But getting on with Gary Lewis is as important if you want good waves in there as being able to drop in on the ledge.
What does he drink?
Do you know, he's not in the pub as often nowadays, Gary, because he works on the oil rigs. So he's away for a long time. He's in Saudi at the moment. So if he did drink anything, with a percentage on it over there in Saudi, he'd probably be locked up. But he's a very reasonable fella. He's a fair fella. He can be relied upon to drop in on somebody who's
always
not
one, isn't
behaving.
it?
And this is.
I think it's yellow or white. But it's some nice surfing.
That was a red board there, wasn't it? Gosh, we've still got this glare going on. I'll try and have a little look through the binoculars to see who that was. It was two good lippers. You're right, that's yellow. So that was Otis Perry. And then this is red.
Red paddling now. Nice quick snap.
So
got the score on the boards.
That's Finn Gillespie. Gary Lewis, one of the best backhand tube
Now he's up
riders
in
I've
white
seen.
as Eli Perrins-Davis. Finds the end section, releases the fins.
Oh yeah, he's done nice to land that one. He'll get a completion there.
They're all building the bridges.
So anyway, Ruby, now unfortunately Gary has had to go back to Saudi Arabia, so he's not going to get to see his daughter Ruby surf today. But she was frothing, she was in her wetsuit 2 hours ago. Told her to go and get changed. So she's gone, she's got changed, she's been home, had an hour's relax, and she's come back down the beach now. She's there in Nairobi. So really proud of her. She's surfing the wedge with her last week. Stylish little goofy footer, Ruby Lewis.
Couple of years now, and she'll be at the point with her dad.
Do you know what? I dread the day because he's going to be out there, and I just see some great one coming through, and I can just see it right now. Gary saying this wave's Ruby's, guys, and we got to give it to her. But you know.
That's what happens.
Do you know, I got a daughter myself, you know, I would love the thought that one day there'd be a lineup somewhere and the top dogs are all top dogettes. And I think, yeah, I'm sure Ruby will have her say at the point if she, goofy foot mind, she might favour the S. So
Yeah.
reef break on the seafront.
She might favour watching Caroline Marks and pick up the backhand techniques.
Yo, that backhand, Caroline Marks' backhand is what a sight to behold.
Watching that in Bells this year, I think.
Unbelievable.
It was absolutely insane. With the swell being big and everything,
Yeah.
she was up for it more than any of the girls.
Oh, fabulous. She put a video out at Trestles early spring, I think it was. I was just blown away by it. I think, you know, I can't see anyone surfing better backhand on tour, full stop. So we've got a couple of other names that we need to make sure we call the under 14 girls here. So Belle Betteridge in white and Kayana Ronduis. So Belle, you're going to be in Belle, but we need Belle Bettridge and Kayana Ronduis to turn up. So can you come and check in, please? Belle Bettridge and Kayana Ronduis. Yeah, Caroline Marks' backhand is... Ace Buchan's got a good backhand.
Yeah.
Medina, obviously.
Did you see Connor Coffin's backhand turn yesterday?
Wilkinson. I did see that. I tell you what, though, I've seen, I don't know if it dropped overnight, Kelly Slater's 1080 or whatever it is. Have you seen that thing?
No, I haven't seen that. I've seen a little snippet of them all surfing on snaketails yesterday.
No, Slater has punted like it's like a 900 or a 1080 or something and landed it over. Like the video's dropped overnight. It's on the WSL Instagram. Unbelievable.
If there's any signal, yeah, just get it up.
But there isn't, so we'll just have to imagine what that looks like. Now I can see the whole Lewis family are down here to watch. Elder sister Josie's here. Grandfather James Lewis. Mum Gloria, they're all here. Do you know, this used to be the 1990s. This was Black Rock Surf Shop. You walked in Black Rock Surf Shop as a grommet, right? Your knees were trembling. All the old guys would be sitting there. You had to behave if you went in Black Rock Surf Shop in the 90s, and now here they are, they're all down the beach, come to watch Ruby surf the heat. Go for it, Ruby, she's in the yellow vest. Hey Ruby, don't put that thing on till you get to the water's edge, it'll make you cold. Put it on right at the water's edge, because it's wet, so it'll make you cold, right? And when you get down there, Ruby, get somebody to do a knot in the back of it for you, right? Mum can ask. Get someone, so put it on, just go over to where the white fan is, and someone will do a knot for you. Go for it, Ruby.
Massive smile on her face.
Gary can, of course, watch if he wants to tune in live to the webcast. What's the address if he goes through the Facebook page?
On UK Pro Surf
UK Pro Surf Facebook page. So Gary, I know it's late in the night in Saudi now, but you can tune in and see.
She's frothing. Logan Nickel walking down there, cheering by commentating, giving me the fist pump.
Joe Morris coming out of the water. Everybody's having an afternoon surf. We're going to get some situation news as well now. Still looking for Belle Bettridge and Kayana Ronduis. Belle Bettridge and Kayana Ronduis. And we are going to need to start that heat because it's going to get dark on us if we don't keep the contest running. So, girls, you need to get down here.
I don't think it was Joe Morris, but Arthur Randall's looking a bit tired after about 94 heats today.
Oh, that is Arthur Randall. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Boots on.
He's been pushing it. He has gone for the boots.
He looks like he's riding fun shape as well. He's opted to a groveler.
When does the water here get colder than Cornwall?
He's on an A-sim. Look, he's riding an A-sim.
Wow.
Proper going for it.
That's a bit mad, that is. I tried riding one of those things in a point break in the Ile de Oloron in France, Chasseron, last summer. Oh, I found the thing weird.
I can only just ride a normal surfboard. I can't ride anything different.
Have you ever ridden one? Have you ever ridden an asymmetric board?
No, nothing ASIM. I ventured to longboards this year. Had a bit of fun on one.
Yeah,
getting a new one.
Put a couple of nice videos up on the Instagram. Are you surfing on the longboard?
Yeah, having a go.
You do well. You surf a longboard like you're not a shortboarder, but everyone always says to me that I surf a longboard like a shortboard. I just want to pump.
That's the. I think that's the key. Just don't get excited.
But the trouble is, getting excited and pumping all the time actually bad shortboarding as well, though. Yeah. Shouldn't really be doing that on a shortboard, let alone a longboard.
Just try and keep your board in the fastest part of the wave, which is normally the pocket, and that's normally when longboarding and shortboarding works better.
We got a little bit of a lag from the judges who are on the shoreline and up here. So as soon as we get a situation, we'll call it.
But yeah, talking about longboarding and shortboarding, it's pretty much whatever you fancy. Guys here on the beach with longboards having fun, guys on shortboards having fun.
Here we go then. We got 5 minutes left in this heat. With a few waves still to drop, Otis Perry is sitting in third, Finn Gillespie is in first, and Eli Perrins-Davies is in second. But we have got some scores drop in that are going to change that. Otis Perry in third, needing a 3.07, and there is another wave to come.
So bright again over here.
So the situation then, we have yellow. Otis Perry, you're in third. You need a 3.07 to go up into second. Otis Perry, you're in third and you need a 3.07. Eli Perrins Davis, you are in second. But if you want to be more secure in second, you need to better a 2.9. Finn Gillespie, you are in first. You need to chase down and beat a 3.6 if you want to improve your score, Finn Gillespie. That's where we're at. That's
Looking forward to a couple of winter days this year. Tom, do you like the cold water? How do you find it?
Yeah, well, I love the sun, but I love the power that we get in the winter. You know, you get that feeling, don't you? You know, June, July. You know, it's like you're surfing in shorts. It's great, but it's like, when am I just going to go on rail? And round here, you know, on this south coast of Wales, as we go further east along here. You know, I saw one of those scaremongering newspapers like the Mail or the Express or something saying we were going to get a 100-day storm or something, right? But like those big storms that blow in, you get 1 hour of northwesterlies in the middle of that storm, and we got some pumping point breaks around here. So I'd always take my odds on a big storm washing through for a few days in winter time. That's the best surfing happens in those little gaps. You get like a nailed on big long period swell with light offshores and everything. It just, I don't know, I get that feeling, you know, you surf the west facing beach breaks and they always seem to sort of, it's almost like you feel like a pressure for the surf to be pumping, you know?
Yeah, you're always thinking, the next couple of hours is going to get better,
and it doesn't.
No,
it's still good, but give me a big driving storm, southwesterlies, with a chance of an hour's northwesterly. You go northwesterly for an hour, time it right, and you can get some great waves around here. What about where you are? Northwesterlies good for you?
Well, people say they're not. We do have a lot of south-facing breaks, but I surfed a point break the other day by me. Big swell, wind went northwest, and everyone thought it was going to be terrible, and it was probably the best surf I've ever had on the Gower.
Great. Otis Perry's got us. That's a good bit of news. Best surf you've ever had. Otis Perry's got a score drop in here now, but it isn't quite going to be enough. It's very close, but not quite enough. So Otis Perry is still looking for that 3.07. Cal, do you surf mid Wales a lot? Ceredigion, you going up there much?
Yeah,
southeasterly is needed there, don't you?
2019's been a good year up there. I think I had even the end of 2018.
We're not going to name the left, are we? That breaks up there, or are we allowed to? I don't know.
Well,
what do you do?
We might get stuck in the trap.
Oh, very clever.
And
if you surf mid Wales at all, you'll get the joke there.
But I had a few days up there last year and this year. And
what about the right-hand sandbank in front of a posh hotel about an hour south of that place? Do you ever get that? The low-tide right-hand sandbank?
I haven't been lucky enough, but...
minute left.
1 minute remaining.
Can't name it. Mostly because you can't pronounce it anyway, probably.
I haven't been lucky enough to surf in front of it, but I'm hoping to this year.
Such a wave. Trouble is, you go up there to surf that left, which is one of the best waves I think I've ever surfed in Britain. And then to risk it, you got to go and surf that right. You got to risk missing the left, haven't you?
Is Kayana Rondonese able to check in as we need to run the heat?
So we've got 20 seconds remaining in this heat now. So will we get Otis Perry with the 3.07? We're coming in for 10 seconds left. Sorry to have a cryptic conversation, viewers, with Callum about surf spots. And a 5, 3, 2, 1.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes. That's happening. every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
They'll get an earful from everybody else in the lineup. Absolute legend.
This is our first final of the day. It's the under 14s girls. Up next is the under 14s boys, followed on by the under 16s girls, 16s boys, and so on.
Nice bit of cash up for grabs in this, Callum. First place receives £50, second 25, third 15, fourth 10. Nice cash prize for the under 14s. I'd love to have been winning that much.
I wish I made a heat back in the day.
I know, same. And that wind has picked up with the turning tide from the west.
Can't
And
really
put a
see
bit of
that.
put a bit of texture on the surface, and certainly made it more difficult to see from our position. A nice crowd gathering down now on the shoreline to watch the heats as we move into the finals. As Callum mentioned, this is the under 14 girls final, and it'll be followed by the under 14 boys final coming up in about 15 minutes. This, of course, the UK Pro Surf Association's Welsh Open, presented by Gower College, Swansea. This, the under 14 girls division. Once again, it's Belle Betteridge in the red, Tegan Blackford in the white, Ruby Lewis in the yellow, Daisy Davis in the blue, and hopefully, if she's checked in, Kayana Rundui. Nice to have a bit of local interest in this, the final. Ruby will be hoping to channel
Last year's
her
schools
father's-
champs.
her father's legendary surfing prowess in this heat.
It's like, yeah, I'll have anything, a Yorkie, anything as long as it's a Yorkie. That's quite specific. I just got being around. Thinking of sort of like names. Do you want something, Claire? Huh? You want something to drink?
So we were just having a chat about the British schools and what schools are in there,
I didn't really mind anything.
and how you can win them. So last year was at Gower College,
Do you like my really
but
cool?
this year they haven't entered the team. If Lucas Skinner wins 3 divisions, he could win the whole school's event for Treforest. Best 3 results are the winners of the schools.
Because I thought I'd seen Lucas Skinner in every single heat, and as such, he could potentially single-handedly take out the British schools title for his school.
He's walking down to another heat. He's probably absolutely knackered.
No, he's too young to be tired. You don't get tired at that age. Big
Father.
grin as he looks back at the commentary booth.
Giving us a smile, carrying a Lucasade in his hydro flask. He's full of energy.
Nice to see so many hydro flasks and containers of that ilk on display at the beaches today, moving away from single-use plastics. The surf community, of course, has quite often been at the forefront of any environmental movement and spurred on in no small part by the charity or the non-profit organisation Surfers Against Sewage that have a mountain of work to help clean up the oceans around the UK, and now they're shifting their focus away from the sewage aspect of protecting the environment towards working to fight against single-use plastics and the impact they're having on our environment.
And that's as we're saying this, I'm holding my own hydro flask, and I was only thinking yesterday how I haven't bought a bottle of water in since I've had it. I just constantly have this in my hand and I'm constantly filling it up.
It was my New Year's resolution 2 years ago to not buy any, and I achieved it thanks to receiving a nice bottle for Christmas. As we see some action out in the lineup, it's very difficult to tell the colours of the surfers from where we are sitting with that sun hanging really low in the sky, casting very bright glare across the surface of the ocean. It does make it extremely difficult, but we will keep you up to date with any scores that come in on the screen in front of us. On this, a sunny Saturday in lovely South Wales. We're live with you from Rest Bay, Porthcawl, jewelled in the crown of the South Wales coast, presenting the Welsh Pro, sponsored by the Gower College Swansea, and these junior divisions, the under-14s, under-16s, under-18s, boys and girls, contributing to the British Schools title. So it'll be the best 3 results of any given school will contribute to their overall score, and we'll see a winner of the UK Schools title crowned come the end of the day, after all is said and done. So we've got under-14s girls, followed by under-14s boys, and then we move into the under-16s girls, under-16s boys, so on and so forth. All the final lineups being decided by the competition earlier in the day. There's a lot of faces that have been competing in several events throughout the day, so a lot of tired children and young adults come the end of the evening from all that.
Eli Parents Davis putting on another Rashi. Arthur Randall, we've said their names more times than ever today, giving us a wave down the beach. Thank you, boys.
Some interesting equipment on Callum.
Yeah. Tom, he's riding an ASIM. I'm not sure. He's surfing well on it.
We spot on low tide as we speak. As Tom and I mentioned earlier, that wind went kind of to a dead tide, slack water. It allowed the wind to come in. Tide impacts the wind greatly, so it's bottoming out now. I think the high tide this evening is about an 8.6 meter tide, or 8.5 meter tide, so it's not the biggest tide, but it certainly will as we move through the day. It hasn't had too much of an impact on size as it often does here. Like I said earlier, we have the second biggest tidal range in the world here in the Severn Estuary, second only to the Bay of Fundy in Canada, and it has a huge impact on conditions, whether it be the size, or the bottom contours of the ocean. So at low tide you could be surfing a 1 to 2 foot beach break, and come high tide that same spot will be well overhead. So the tide having a huge impact, and it's both a blessing and a curse. Sometimes we can surf, we've got some really great low tide spots, but we are impacted massively by the tide, and it quite often ends up with us being dragged along in a huge current. Actually, I was surfing a spot I shan't name last weekend, and I almost ended up with a very long paddle back to the nearest beach, having been ripped around the point.
What were the conditions last weekend?
It was about head high down here in southeast Wales. So a lot of wind back. Lots of wind. Gap in the fore. Sorry, my mic is going in and out. Managed to get a gap in the wind and surf one of my favourite spots for about half an hour before the wind picked back up. So lately, this autumn certainly, you've had to take your chances when you can.
because it's not been great conditions, certainly not here in South East Wales. It's been a lot of rain, it's been a lot of wind, and not a great deal of swell. Hopefully all that will change as we move into the winter period. I heard Tom and you talk about that earlier, Callum, about winter being his favourite time of year to surf.
How do you find the cold? I like thrive on cold water and getting up in the dark, getting a coffee on the way down.
Yeah, it's one of those things. When you're doing it, it seems like quite the chore, but growing up here, you get used to it. I think you just got to have to be prepared. You've got to make sure you've got a good equipment. Make sure you come in warm clothes. And we've got 5 minutes remaining in this heat. I'll give you a situation update as the scores drop with us. Yeah, you've got to be prepared, have good equipment, and like I say, pick your opportunities to go surfing. We're fortunate here on the coast of South Wales to have lots of nooks and crannies and bends in our coast, lots of different rock formations. So we've got spots to handle pretty much any conditions, providing there's enough swell. We've got points, we've got reef breaks, we've got beach breaks. We've got it all in lots of different angled beaches, so there's always somewhere that's going to be offshore. However, we're just going to make sure that we get the swell and winters when we get that. So yeah, I do enjoy surfing in the cold. However, given the choice, I'd rather surf good waves and board shorts.
I haven't been lucky enough to surf in above 22 degrees water, but I enjoy the cold. I like the thought of Scottish cold water. Get like ice on my gloves. That I like thrive off that. And if the waves are good, that's even better.
Okay, that's an interesting one. Finally, you say 22 degrees is my optimum water temperature. Southwest France in the summer is my favourite. If it's a bit any warmer than that, and I feel a bit sweaty in the water, I like it not too hot, but warm enough to wear boardies. And do you know what? Earlier it was in September actually, we ran a club comp here at Rest Bay, and it was one of the only properly sunny days of the autumn. It was baking hot. I think it was up around 28 degrees, which for September in Wales is not half bad. We had a nice swell running, it was 2 to 3 foot, glassy all day, and I surfed in boardies. It was wonderful.
And you took out the event?
I did. It was, I didn't think I was going to. It was a very good event. We had a traditional longboarding category and a retro shortboard category on which you had to be riding anything twin fin, single fin, or pre-1980s. So we had a variety of equipment. Yeah, and it was a fun day. Made all the better by the nice weather and warm water.
It sounds amazing. It's nice to have competitions in Wales and even the UK. Just pushing UK surfing.
We've had plenty of fantastic competitions over the years here at Rest Bay. I'll talk about that more in a moment. But in the meantime, we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this heat. Currently in 5th place in this heat, we have surfer in yellow, local girl Ruby Lewis, daughter of Gary Lewis. She requires a 6.11 to progress into 2nd. In 4th place, we have surfer in green, Kayana Rondui. She needs a 5.94 to move into 2nd. In 3rd place, Daisy Davis, requiring a 4.84 to move into 2nd. And in 2nd place, Belle Bettridge, needing a 3.81 for 1st. And out in front, Tegan Blackford, with a combination of a 4 and a 3.8, totaling 7.8. She is out in front. This is the final of the under-14 girls here live from Rest Bay at the UK Pro Surf Tour's Welsh Open, presented by Gower College, Swansea. These results, of course, going towards, perhaps, the British Schools Surfing Championship title. So yeah, as we approach the 1 minute mark remaining in this heat, I'll mention again, we've had loads of really fantastic competitions over the years here at Rest Bay. Some fantastic club competitions for years and years and years. Welsh Pro Surf Club was so lucky. I think we had about 5 or 6 years we run an event called the Tsunami Cup, which raises funds for victims of the 2004 Boxing Day tsunami. We sponsor a village called Mijigama in Sri Lanka, and we've helped rebuild lots of homes. I think a community hall, a school. It's all contributed towards that kind of thing. And we actually haven't run it this year. Hopefully we'll get a chance in November. But for years and years, I think it was about 5 or 6 years, we just lucked out on the best day of the year, time and time again. And that sound marks the 1 minute remaining in this heat. Surfers in the water, you have 1 minute remaining. As it stands, in 5th place, we have Kayana Rondui. In 4th place, Ruby Lewis. In 3rd place, Daisy Davis. In 2nd place, Belle Bettridge, and out in front with 35 seconds remaining is Tegan Blackford. Belle, you require a 3.81 to take 1st. Ruby, you require a 6.18 to take first. Daisy, you require a 5.31 to take first, and Kayana, a 6.41 to take first. With 20 seconds remaining in this heat, it's all to play for. Will any of our surfers manage to snag one before the hooter?
And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
So the air temperature's starting to drop now. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, I just saw a nice left being ridden by someone on their forehand. So
Yeah.
goofy foot surfer.
I think
Again,
it might have been Eli Perrins-Davis.
very difficult to see exactly who's who from here. So yeah, Ogmore Rivermouth it gets a lot of exposure online. Unfortunately, all the rain we've been having recently, rushing down the Aberogwr, the Ogmore River, has washed away the bank. There's nothing there, nada.
Well, that's a massive shame because they're all going to be venturing down your way, Rob.
Not anymore. There is no bank there. I repeat, no bank at Ogmore. It does get good. It does. It certainly did. Last winter we saw quite a few good runs of surf there on certain conditions. However, nope. Straight from the horse's mouth, there is no bank. It's been washed away. We've had a substantial amount of rain, more rain than I've ever known for autumn. Yesterday, actually outside my house, I live on this hill, and there's so much rain fell in a very short period. It was over curb level, so it's like 6 inches of water running down the whole width of the road. It was quite dramatic indeed.
Lucky for you, you were inside your house yesterday.
I was.
As for me, working outside, I'm a carpenter, so I was putting up timber frame, and I was absolutely soaked.
Well, that's it. My dad's a brickie. Well, he's retired now, but he's building a house for himself, him and my mum. And he's been cursing the weather because it's just been raining pretty much non-stop for a month, and it's really has prevented him getting any further than DPC level. But yesterday, he was complaining about getting soaked. He's trying to do something outside. I don't know what exactly.
There's not much luck. There's not much luck in Brickie's life this month.
No, well, lots of people forget. They say, oh, you know, bricklayers charge an awful lot, but they've got to account for the times that they can't work, such as now. Like if you're a bricklayer, you've been struggling to work for the past month, so.
Yeah, you just got to account and how hard they work and what they put their body through.
I've seen his side of the deal, and yeah, you can earn a good wage, good amount of money, and you pick and choose your times you work, but you are heavily restricted by the weather. So, casting our eyes back to this, the under-14 boys final. In the water, we have Lucas Skinner in red, Arthur Randall in white, Finn Gillespie in yellow, and Eli Perrin-Davis in blue. 4 surfers who have been impressing throughout the day, putting together lots of exciting maneuvers, seen lots of progressive surfing, lots of fins being released, lots of stylish surfing too. One thing that I value probably above anything in surfing is style. I think it's the most important thing. There'd be people that disagree with me and they say, oh, if someone can surf a wave really well without style and throw the fins, but I'd say I'd rather watch a stylish surfer than an explosive surfer.
Yeah, I feel the same. There's nothing better than watching somebody make a wave, make their calves look a bit better by cocking their leg, whereas they don't have to, but they sometimes get that tweak at the end of it anyway. It's nice to watch.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate growing up surfing here. We've got so many fantastically stylish surfers in the Porthcawl area, the likes of Brad Hockridge, Simon Tucker, Mark Schofield, James Thomas, all these people or Gary Lewis, whose daughter Ruby was in that last heat. All these fantastically stylish surfers that I grew up watching and surfing with, and it really has led me to value that style above pretty much anything else. And we've got a couple of other notable stylish surfers. Elliot Dudley, growing up surfing here too, one of Wales's most stylish surfers ever, 2-time European longboard champion, and equally stylish on a shortboard or a mid-length. He's currently on a gap year at the young age of 34. He's having a great time.
Yeah,
he's at Chicama in Peru at the minute, somewhere you've spent a lot of time, Tom.
Yeah, do you know, that is an incredible place. Such a long wave, and it actually breaks a lot more than people think it does as well. And so it's funny though. I've also been to the place where Elliot and Marie Claire just got stuck in Ecuador, Montanita, and that is not the place you'd want to get stuck in Ecuador. So there was some kind of riot or protest, wasn't there, against the government. Montanita is a beach party town where you can't sleep because of the noise of the bongos.
It's funny you should say that. So I was chatting about Elliot and Marie Claire's predicament getting stuck in Ecuador because of the protest last week with another friend of mine, Tom McNeil, who I believe is listening right now. And he was saying that is it Montanita? He was there too, and he said he was there purely to surf. He hadn't been very well, so he wasn't feeling the party vibe. And he'd be going out surfing at dawn every morning, and there'd be people still raging from the night before. Quite the place by the sound of it. Okay, casting our eyes back at this, the under-14 boys final heat. There are 7 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this heat. Currently in 4th position, we have the surfer in white, Arthur Randall, requiring a 7.71 to take first. In 3rd position, Eli Perrin-Davis of Ogmore Rivermouth, surfing in blue and requiring a 5.81 to take first. In 2nd position, Finn Gillespie, the surfer in yellow, needing a 2.71 to take that lead. And out in front, Lucas Skinner with a combination of a 3.83 and a 3.87, combining to make 7.70. He's out in first. That's your heat situation with 7 minutes remaining. So I spoke to Marie Claire yesterday, and they're in Chicama, and she said, well, I made the comparison between Chicama and Lynmouth, saying it's a nice long left. I said it's Lynmouth in the year 2056. She said there were about 1,000 people in the water, and Elliot had cramp from doing the runaround.
In Chicama, 1,000 people in the water. Oh, do you know, I feel two things. I feel old and I feel smug. Because I went to Chicama 15 years ago, and I think there was 5 people in the water at one point. And, but I got so ill because it wasn't really that much there at the time. And we went and had soup in this house, which apparently was run by the local cartel. And the soup had a testicle in it, I remember that. And then I remember having some chips somewhere. And not much else. I'd been in Chicama for a week, had amazing waves. My legs are knackered because I'd been walking the Inca Trail the week before as well. But I just got so ill. It was unbelievable how ill I got.
A testicle in the soup.
You got balls. I just seen, I think it was Lucas Skinner doing a massive layback from out here and sticking it, and that's low tide, and it's still a really bad glare.
So we will wait for the judges' scores to come in on that.
Yeah.
It seems like quite the dinner, Tom. I don't know if I fancy that myself. Interesting.
It's a good wave though. It's a long wave. It's hard to make. It's 2 points in a row, really. Well, or even 3. There's a third one behind on the Cape, they call it. And the biggest hazard there, you have to surf in boots. The water's a little bit colder. There's all those, all the Galapagos birds are in the water and stuff, because it's like you're on the equator, but the water's cold. The blue-footed booby I saw on the beach there. But you have to wear boots, even though the water's probably about 15 or something. If you don't wear boots, you can't walk on the sand to get back up the point because it gets too hot. Unbelievable.
Interesting. So, Shikama, you said it's made up of 2 or 3 point breaks. Is it possible to surf the full extent of 2 or 3 of them from the top to the bottom, or is it a case of catch a long wave, paddle a bit, catch a long wave, paddle a bit, catch a long wave, paddle a bit?
The first 2 don't connect. You've got to ride. You've got to paddle on a little bit. Do you know? I'd liken it to, at a place I know you have been, Raglan.
Yeah.
You got the, what's it called, indicators. There's that little gammy bit in between, and then you've got Manu Bay.
Yeah.
Only it's the other way round. Manu Bay is probably the most shapely part of Raglan, isn't it?
Yes.
And indicators is the bit that might run away from you. Shikama's the other way round. The most shapely bit is at the top, and then the wave kind of runs away from you as it goes down into town.
Another wonderful spot I spent quite a bit of time at last year. Lovely time in New Zealand.
Raglan.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't you get a clip, a black eye in the water at Whangamata?
Whangamata, up in on the Coromandel Peninsula, yes.
Great wave. Whangamata Bar, the Mandaka of New Zealand.
Do you know what? I didn't even know it was a spot. I turned up there just because we were looking.
I don't think even the New Zealanders know it's a spot.
Well, we were looking at a map and we said, oh, that place looks kind of nice. We rolled up this one evening. We arrived about 11 p.m. It was dark, and my friend Ol and I had parked our car up. And there were a couple of people checking it in the middle of the night, and they said, "Oh, you're here for the swell?" I said, "No, we were just on our jollies, just driving around." And sure enough, the next day lucked into apparently the best Whangamata in 10 years.
Left hand, that left hand sandbank.
It was incredible.
It's Mandaka. It's Mandaka in disguise.
And a lot of very, very good waves in the vicinity of that spot too.
Yeah, Uputari, a little beach break up to the north.
I surfed a Gravier-esque beach break just to the south called I'm reluctant to say the name because I can't pronounce it properly. But it was about 10 miles to the south of Whangamata, and it was
Was it the other side of the estuary at Maunganui?
No, it wasn't. It was north of there, so it was between Mount Maunganui and Whangamata, and it was.
I don't know where that is.
There were about 3 people in the water.
Big score drop in here for Finn Gillespie in the yellow.
And then some other random guy. But we saw a shark breach the water there. So
wow.
We reluctantly made our way from the shore as the scores drop in with 2 minutes 30 seconds remaining in this heat.
Big score drop in for Finn Gillespie, and Arthur Randall is chasing down second place from Lucas Skinner, who's in second. So Finn Gillespie just posted a 6.67. That puts him in a good position. 2 minutes 15 left.
Also, I feel it necessary to give you an update, and Finn Gillespie has actually assumed the lead in this heat with that wave. So in 4th place, Eli Perrin-Davis, requiring a 9.78, a near perfect 9.78 to take first. In 3rd position is
there is
Arthur
another
Randall.
score dropping for Eli though.
Arthur Randall requiring an 8.1 to take first. Second position, Lucas Skinner, who's been leading the heat for much of it, needs a 7.8 to take.
Eli's dropped a high 3. That's not going to do it. He needs a 4.34. He doesn't need a lot more to catch Lucas Skinner.
Your heat leader is the surfer in yellow, Finn Gillespie, with a combination of a 6.67 and a 5.0, giving us a total of 11.67.
Arthur Randall in white, you need a 4.04 to get from 3rd to 2nd. Arthur Randall in white, you need a 4.04. If you were going to go for first, Arthur Randall, you would then need an 8.01. So 8.01 Arthur Randall would need to take first here. So at the moment, we've got Finn Gillespie in the lead, so Lucas Skinner needs a 7.81
as we see someone up and riding, big bash on their forehand, a solid looking wave from a goofy footer
Into
there.
the last minute, so that's going to be Eli Perrins-Davis, the only goofy footer in this heat.
And talking.
So will Lucas Skinner get the 7.81 he needs, or are we going to have Finn Gillespie take the win?
Talking of solid goofy footers, I've seen Josh Hockridge cruising around the contest site for much of today. Powerful surfer, surfing with his right foot forward. As we count down
30 seconds
to the last 30 seconds of the heat. If anything's to be done, it needs to be done now. A last gasp attempt. A Hail Mary, as they say on the WSL.
Will Lucas Skinner get it? The 7.81 needed to take the lead, or otherwise we're going to see Finn Gillespie take this thing down.
This is a champagne finish as we see someone up and riding on a right-hander with just 7 seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So we're going to be waiting to see those scores drop.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
We've got a score drop low, but I can see that it's not going to make a difference. So we've got a few scores dropping in for each surfer from the under 14 boys final, but there's none of the scores are in the range yet that are going to take that lead off Finn Gillespie. So we've got a few scores dropping. Still, you know, there's so many of these scores here. I think lots of, you know, we've got that backlog because the scores are coming up from the beach. Lucas Skinner was looking like the sort of the early favourite for that before the contest.
It was an exciting heat. Lucas Skinner led it for much of the heat. He was in the lead, and then Finn Gillespie came from behind to take that top spot.
Yeah,
but we are
big
still
score.
waiting for a few scores, so we should see.
We've got the under 16 girls coming up then, and so this is Belle Bettridge in red, Tegan Blackford in white, Aisha Sykes in yellow, and Jessie Van Vyck in blue. Are we ready to start this one? We're going to have a move of the judges' car is moving, so they're suffering from the same glare as us. So we're just going to get, now the judges being in a vehicle are able to move. So as soon as they're moved, we're going to be starting the under 16 girls. Then we'll get you the results of the under 14 boys. We'll get you the results of the under 14 girls as well. So we'll go back into the system and have a look at those. Was that all the scores that had dropped at the end then for the under 14 boys? So, unconfirmed result, unofficial result. It stands. Nobody picked up that big score that was needed at the end of that one. So Finn Gillespie has taken that one out on the unofficials. He'll be absolutely delighted.
Just thinking about this next heat, Tom. So, as you said, we've got Belle Bettridge in red, Tegan Blackford in white, Usher Sykes in yellow, and Jessie Van Wyk in blue. We count down to the start of this heat in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's the start of the under-16 girls final. And one of our surfers in this heat will again be, two of our surfers will be surfing in the under-18 girls final as well. All four. They're in under-16 and under-18s.
Busy day for these guys.
Wow.
So there's a Bettridge family, isn't there? Because we saw Beau Bettridge surfing earlier. Beau and Belle, good names. Maybe they parle un peu de français aussi.
Well, it literally means the same thing. So it's beautiful Bettridge and beautiful Bettridge.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Masculine and feminine have the same thing. You're right about that. An interesting piece of nomenclature. Can we have a look then at the under 14 girl? So
lots of our conversations have been lexicographic in nature today, Tom. Lots of words.
The under 14 girls final. So, that was a real close one there. Look at those scores. Right up the top, very close between Tegan Blackford and Belle Bettridge, both of whom are now in the water. Daisy Davis in third place with a 3.97. Ruby Lewis, podium place for her first heat. Ruby Lewis in the yellow comes in fourth, and Kayana Roundris comes in fifth in the green. So great work there, Ruby.
Very tightly run affair.
Great stuff. Tegan Blackford.
They've got to make the difference, haven't they, between each of the scores? We end up with quite fine margins.
It's all about getting that scale in the right place, isn't it? All about getting the scale in the right place. Equal pay.
Yes.
For ladies.
Talk to me.
In this event. That's where it's at now in surfing, isn't it?
I'm a proud supporter of it. It's only right. So
there's the winner of this ladies contest will take home exactly the same money as the winner of the men's contest. The WSL have led the way. Why aren't more sports doing it?
I think it would probably be down to each institution. Quite a lot of the sports that aren't doing it currently are quite and they've been established for a very long time, and I think because they've been around for so long, it takes a lot more to get that machinery working.
So surfing has that kind of, surfing is
kind of edgy, isn't it? It's on that leading edge of that kind of youth culture.
And a sport that's happy to change and move with the times.
Certainly.
It's an interesting one, because when it was first introduced in the WSL, just to see how quickly times change, right? I think it was one of the Kai Neville movies.
Dusty Payne.
Dusty Payne.
Dusty Payne.
Now, from my point of view, what an idiot.
I thought he came across really badly.
Yeah, and it's interesting though, because Kai Neville kind of knows what he's doing when he puts those documentaries together. I interviewed Kai Neville at the Approaching Line Surf Film Festival in Newquay, and he almost had like this kind of crew of disciples around him, with the moustaches and the hipster clothes and all that, the kind of Noah Dean wannabes. The beat generation of modern surfing, and these guys are all
Jack Kerouac of surfing.
These guys are all, at the cutting edge and avant-garde and all that, and then he goes and includes in his movie Dusty Payne saying that he thinks that the men deserve more money because they surf harder and in bigger waves.
It was an interesting one, because I've heard a lot of people when at the time when this was kind of on everybody's lips.
there are lots of people writing Dusty Payne off, rightly so, based on what he said. However,
Myself included.
and myself also. But I heard a lot of people defending him, saying, you know, that's not him, that's not his personality. He wouldn't have meant it in that vein, and you don't know the context in which it's being said.
See, the Kai Neville thing is it's all supposed to be tongue in cheek, isn't it?
Yeah.
But who records that tongue in cheek?
Yeah, it's not the kind of thing that either you or I would say. I don't think.
No.
You know it to be intrinsically wrong to say it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or to think it.
And also, you know, I think that what has made a big difference now is that not only the equal pay, that's one step, but what they've started to do now is make sure that the ladies' heats actually go in the right waves. So, you know, for years I've been thinking, just let the women loose on J Bay and look what they're going to do.
Steph Gilmore.
When, you know, Steph Gilmore, J Bay, you know, it was a while before they brought the women to trestles as well.
Here's one for you. So, at the surf ranch, Kelly Slater's wave pool in Lemoore, California.
Yeah.
I put it to you that there is no one I'd rather watch surf it than Stephanie Gilmore, because I personally find it a little bit boring watching it. However, Stephanie Gilmore makes me interested in it. She surfs
Felipe Toledo.
She surfs it. I'd still rather see Stephanie.
But also, how rad was it that in the first day of Surf Ranch, Joanne DeFay got the deepest barrel that anyone was going to get.
It was spectacular, but I'd still rather watch Stephanie Gilmore.
I think
than
Yago Dora
else,
topped it the day after.
because she surfs it in a completely different way to anybody else. Those really long, drawn-out lines into the flats.
The two brides with a slight little hang five
And
thrown
she
in to
puts
get
her-
the foot
and
on the
that
nose.
front foot forward in the Jerry Lopez kind of hang five,
it's
cheetah five
fabulous
kind of
to watch.
stance. I love it.
Yeah, fabulous to watch.
And
But that's the point, isn't it? In the Surf Ranch, it's a level playing field. The wave is a level playing field, and you can see that gap between the men and the women in the Surf Ranch is just not there. Now, there is still a gap between all of the men and the women, and then Medina and Toledo. But, you know, that's a gap that no one's going to close in a hurry.
I mean, there's a gap between most of the men on tour. And
That's what I mean.
Toledo.
There's a gap between all of the men and the women, and then Medina and Toledo.
Yeah, exactly.
In those ways.
Looking back to other sports, and you see the likes of Andy Murray in tennis, he has been an outspoken advocate of equal pay for men and women, and I've heard him make an interesting point when he's been kind of challenged.
That
on his
interview
viewpoint.
when he was
It's a
asked.
fantastic one, and they say, well, someone questions why he supports it, and he says, well, the men and the women train equally hard as each other, and so if one of the women are training as hard as he is, why shouldn't they be remunerated in an equal way? And
Well, there is no reason.
I completely agree with him.
That interview when that tennis journalist asked Andy Murray.
Yeah, you're the first person to do this in the, and he thought, well, no, not Serena.
First American to win, first American woman, first American man. He said, yeah, brilliant. Also, I thought the Ladies World Cup was a big breakthrough as well. Team USA and a couple of those games, you know, the semi-final between the USA and France. And in the last couple of years on the WSL, the title race has been more exciting between the ladies.
Oh, absolutely.
Not so much this year, I think. I think Carissa is starting to turn the screw on it a little bit now. Lakey Peterson's still pushing it, but I think we're going into you know, unless Lakey Peterson really gets a big result now in Portugal.
I think we've seen the tide has certainly turned in terms of women's surfing gaining in popularity. And I think WSL have been at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
It's in the past 5 or 6 years, I've seen a much greater interest in the women's side of things, and I'm happy to watch the women's as I am the men. In fact, more so, especially talking about the surf ranch, Stephanie Gilmore.
Yeah, and the title races have been more exciting. Honolulu Bay as well, a great place to finish a world title.
I'm so pleased, and you know what? You're saying that they haven't in the past let the women surf at Jeffreys Bay, whereas the men have been.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic that coin's kind of been flipped, and the women are surfing at Honolulu Bay.
The men don't get to.
One of the most dreamy kind of waves you kind of draw in school books.
I know, and the men don't get to surf
It's
it.
brilliant, and that wave is actually really allowed Carissa Moore, Stephanie Gilmore, Sally Fitzgibbons to really showcase what they're capable of
Absolutely
doing.
incredible surfing there, and they've had it very good the last couple of years, haven't they?
Going back to the Olympic conversation,
Just for the viewers at home, the glare at the moment is challenging, which is the reason why if you're seeing...
so we'll take it back to the action actually, because we have just over 5 minutes
We'll
remaining.
do a situation update, but
5
in
minutes
terms of
remaining
seeing
in this
it
heat.
at the moment, that's a
And
challenge for
our
us, isn't it?
surfer in blue, Jessie Van Wyk, is currently sitting in 4th
So
place.
you at home,
Rick-
you've probably seen these waves, whereas we're only seeing them on a computer at the moment.
She requires a 4.34 to take first. Our surfer in third is Tegan Blackford in the white rash vest. She needs a 3.71 to take first. In second position, Asha Sykes in yellow, needing a 3.08 to move into first. And
okay, I can pick out a bit of action now. I've got a
surfer in red, Belle Bettridge.
Goofy footer going along here.
Sitting atop the leaderboard with a 6.40 heat total.
Seeing colours through that glare is a massive challenge.
Be careful with those binocs, Tom, you're going to burn your retinas.
In red. And now we got a left coming here, and we're going to have the surfer in yellow. Good looking left.
And we have 5 minutes remaining as I see a free surfer.
Landed. That was Aisha Sykes there.
I see a free surfer walking down the beach with Mark Phipps shape, a one bad egg, I believe that model is, and I tutor Mark Phipps' son.
I know, because I was trying to talk to you on the phone the other day, and you weren't answering. You were tutoring him by Skype.
I was tutoring him, and I've spoken to him about that model. One of my really good mates, Tom Major, rides it, and it's his best-selling model.
Was it Mark Phipps' son who was in that heat with you this summer?
Yeah, that's right. We teamed up in.
And you won the Salty Crew. You won a bit of cash, didn't you?
Yeah, it's the Salty Crew Fishtail Invitational in Seignos in France.
Good bit of rail there again from Aisha Sykes in the yellow.
Yeah,
Jay. She sticks that. She'll be taking a score down to the bank.
Jay and I teamed up to take out the inaugural Fishtail Invitational.
Aisha Sykes needs a 3.08 to take the lead. She has got a 3.33. That, if she'd stuck that turn, I'm sure it would have been. She'd have been in the conversation, as Potts and Turpel would say.
So Jay, of course, son of Mark Phipps from Australia, but also Christine Phipps from Swansea. Now Jay, in theory...
And here we go, we've got a... Blue is going here, and Blue sticks a little Rio, and he's looking to try and pull that out.
Jay could surf under a Welsh
That was
flag.
Jesse Van Wyk.
And a good little surfer he is too, represents Santosha Surf Club down in France, lives in Seignos.
Santosha, Capreton.
Right. He's had a couple
good
of good
barrels.
Results. Well,
good barrels there in the right swell.
He's had a couple of fantastic results this year. Of course, the standard of surfing in France is extremely high, and his name is always up there.
So we have now, we've got a shift here in where the competitors are in the beach, and they've started to come up into an area where they're out of the glare. So now we can see here Aisha Sykes in yellow on the backhand, needing the 3 something, and again pulls out of that one. So we've got a much better view of the surfers here now. They've come out of the glare. We've been waiting a while. They've moved out of the glare.
We have 2.5 minutes remaining in this heat. Surfers in the water, you have 2.5 minutes. So coming up in the final of the under-16 boys, which they should have checked in and be on their way down the beach, is Lucas Skinner in red, Jowan Pegg in white, Finn Gillespie in yellow, and Kieran Smith in blue. And we have just over 2 minutes remaining in this, the under-16 girls final heat.
Out of the glare, maybe even producing the glare as he shines so radiantly, Rob. One of Porthcawl's most revered surf figures.
Is that Ray Sansom?
It's Ray Sansom. Look at the way he carries that longboard sideways.
A stately wave.
The sun glinting off the glossy deck.
Now Ray is famed in other circles. He's a very high-level swimming coach. Tom.
Yes, he is. I know. And when we've had surf club swimming, that
pushes you to your limit.
He pushes you to your limit. You get in trouble. Ray's coaching you, and
I've never sweated in a swimming pool as much as I have there.
Incredible. Heronsbridge swimming pool. Ray Sansom. Work through the stitch, he says. But you know, it did well. Everyone from our club pulled in good results in the Welsh that year, so it was worth it. The pain in the pool led to glory in Fresh West.
And there's nothing finer than glory. Fresh West as he mounts the slipway with a lightning bolt surfboard.
So we're into the last minute of this heat. There's
1 minute remaining. Surfers in the water, you have 1 minute remaining.
There is plenty of scoring potential in these waves here.
And the situation as it stands
and
in fourth.
In yellow, Aisha Sykes comes off the top. Looking for a reform on this. very excited now. They're out of the glare. You can see the surfing again.
So
here.
that's 30 seconds remaining. And our surfer in blue, Jesse Van Wyk, is in fourth, requiring a 4.34 to take first. In third position is Tegan Blackford, the surfer in white, needing a 3.71 to take first. Asher Sykes in yellow needing a 3.08, and out in front, Belle Betridge, so it's all to play for. Will we see a Hail Mary?
Well, we'll see now whether Asher Sykes got the score with that one then.
With just 10 seconds remaining, we shall be counting down.
And there, two riders, Asher Sykes bashes the lip.
In 5, 4, 3, 2,
Belle
1.
Betridge with the turn as well. Belle Betridge with the closeout Rio on the
That
buzzer
noise
beater
signals
there.
the end of
So
the heat.
We had everybody up and riding there, and so when the scores drop, will she hold on? Nervous.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
Skinner. Lucas Skinner in red, Jowan Pegg, our surfer in white, Finn Gillespie in yellow, and Kieran Smith in blue.
So, we do apologise to anyone who's also suffering from the glare from home. Not a lot of internet signal, but apparently there's been some excitement in the comment boxes about the glare. We've heard the word.
We share your pain. My retinas are being sizzled by this glare.
Yeah, if that glare is tough looking through a computer screen or looking at a TV screen, which obviously we'd hope some of our viewers have done, wire the computer up into the widescreen telly, isn't it? Since all the day's sport took place earlier. So, looking through a pair of binoculars at that glare, I think I'm going to need a trip to the opticians after this. So we have got in the water now the under-16 boys final.
So, the boys final, and coming up next, we'll see the under-18 girls final. However, we do have a slight change for the under-18 girls final because of the previous heat. We decided to keep some of the surfers in their rash vests. So, instead of surfing in green, Jessie Van Wyk will now surf in blue, and Francesca Sea who was supposed to be surfing in blue, will surf in green. Something to bear in mind if you're coming down the beach, or indeed if you're watching from home.
So, of course, if you are listening at home on the ukprosurf.com website or at Facebook, welcome. Croeso i'r Esbay Porthcawl to this, the UK Pro Surf Association Welsh Open, presented by Gower College, Swansea. I'm Rob Blythe, welcome to the cast. I'm joined by Tom Anderson, and I shall soon be handing over to the very capable hands of Swansea's favourite son, Callum. How are you, Callum?
Pleasure to be back. I had to get my sunglasses because the glare's killing me. You heard the waves have been good.
Yeah, I've seen an image, Cal. The glare is not as bad online as it is in real life from where we're sitting.
That's all that matters then. Going into Tom's black.
So we've got a ride taking place there. That's just an up and down. We got a couple of scores dropping though, and already Lucas Skinner has a score. So this is going to be a score here. And red is Lucas Skinner is going to jump to an early lead here. Pipped in the last one by Gillespie. Lucas Skinner now is posted himself a 6 to start off there. A 6.17. And Kieran Smith is in second. So we've got quite a few of the same surfers here again. Finn Gillespie now is in yellow. So that's the guy who won the under-14 boys, and now here he is in the under-16. So Lucas Skinner's got the chance to try and get him straight back. Finn, on the other hand, has got the chance to try and do the double over Lucas Skinner. You booked to, you got a surf scheduled in Bristol yet, Cal?
Yes, I've managed to get a booking on my birthday.
Oh, when's that?
22nd of November, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I've seen the after seeing that video, I've probably watched it about 7 times.
Yeah. It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, have you booked a session there?
Yeah, 15th of December I'm going. I got an hour on the left, and then I got an hour on the right later. It's going to take us all day though, because I'm going up there with 2 others, and with my other half. And we're going to have the kids with us. So
full day.
So it's a full day, so we're going to have to take it in turns. So we got girls surf, boys surf the left first, then girls surf the left, then everyone has lunch, then boys surf the right, then girls surf the right.
That sounds epic.
It's gonna be a lot is gonna depend on the wind probably when you have a session there still, isn't it? I don't think Bristol's going to be as sensitive a spot to snow as that Snowdonia Valley can be with wind.
No, but I tell you what would be very exciting there is a competition. When the first competition starts there.
Yeah.
That will be exciting.
Go on.
After UK Pro Surf Tour doing one in Snowdonia last year, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the format.
Yeah.
It was quite a hard wave to surf.
Oh, it's a real challenge, isn't it?
Yes, it is as fun as it is.
And there was a bit of wind, wasn't there?
Yeah, and it was a glorious day, but there was a bit of wind. And the wave isn't as steep as the wave in Bristol looks, so Bristol one looks a lot more fun. It even offers a barrel section.
Well,
so
it is the 2.0, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the thing I found with Snowdonia is you get. I don't know how. I mean, I wasn't in that contest. I was up there the day before. My dad was visiting from California, so I had to get back to catch up with him. Oh, it's a great carve there. On the front side, a lipper coming through to the inside. Yeah, another connection, and didn't quite stick that last turn. So that was Kieran Smith in the blue, bashing and throwing a bit of water around though, so that'll have picked something up. Yeah, so I had to leave the day before the comp, but I had to surf there. Pat Landon Dark was having his warm-up at the same time as me.
Yeah,
and I was thinking at the time, I saw the format, right? Now, every now and then a wave comes. You know, you're getting like 15 when you're in a session or something, and you can have a wave where it just doesn't give you a section.
Yeah.
And if that happens to you in your heat,
yeah, the contest was on the right, and I found the left was a lot easier to surf properly and actually do a bottom turn. I found that even watching the boys surfing on their forehand, it wasn't a proper bottom turn. It was like a half bottom turn, and the backhand boys could almost draw it out a bit better. And
yeah, because if you bottom turn too hard in the fresh water as well, it's very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. So hopefully now, learning in Bristol, it'll be fun to try out.
So we got some scores. 5 minutes and 30 remaining. Currently in 4th place is Finn Gillespie. So a complete reversal of fortunes from his last heat. If he was going to take the lead in this, he would need a 6.35. So that was roughly the score he did get in the last one. So it's not impossible. 3rd place, Joe and Peg. He would need a 4.85 to take the lead. And we're just going to get the other 2 scores. There are a few more scores coming in. No.
The boys here today in the final right now have got plenty of heats. They're looking knackered as they're walking back to the beach.
Kieran Smith is in 2nd. He needs a 4.45 to take the lead. So Lucas Skinner is holding down the lead. Lucas Skinner, the only person to have broken the 6 range in this final so far. And a very small score just dropping for Lucas, an up and a down. Wave pools, good for surfing?
Yeah, I think it is good. It is good for surfing. It's going to push surfing where you can't surf.
Yeah.
So anyone who needs to go and work in land and gets lucky enough to get work where there's a wave pool is going to be able to surf, and that's going to keep growing the surfing world.
Yeah. Do you know, it's also the range of stuff that might happen with wave pools. I find this quite exciting, the idea that we in the ocean, us surfers and our surf culture, like the coastal surf culture, we know what we've been taught is surfing, you know? And it's something that's changed over the years. And like the way that art forms follow trends and traditions, that's what surfing's done.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you get a wave pool somewhere like Beijing, or even somewhere like Liverpool? You've got no surf community around it that is like a beach surf community, and you have this kind of city, like an urban setup around a wave pool. And these guys are not bound by the sort of the rules of what you see people do on a wave here. They're going to invent maneuvers we've never even thought of, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're also going to be learning surfing completely different. It's
Totally
a
different
type of surfing, but at least it's adapting the sport, and it's going to make it probably more professional, having been able to have a specific training facility for the likes of Team GB now. If they have a training weekend and there's no waves, they can always use the wave.
Yeah.
In Bristol, for an example, or in the one in Edinburgh that's going to be in a couple of years or months, I'm not sure when.
They haven't quite cracked how to make it entertaining though. You know, when that Surf Ranch Pro, I found it's difficult for it not to be quite samey, isn't it?
It's almost too perfect.
The wave's too perfect.
Problem.
Do they have to change the type of wave a little bit? So they need to make wave pools with a...
Well, I was talking to someone before, and I thought what would be a really good idea is after every wave that comes in, you should be able to change the settings to make it completely different. So I know you can't change the wind, so if the wind's affecting it, the wind's affecting it. But if you want it to be slabby and barreling or high performance, to be able to change that,
So you do like a round, so a contest is like, right, now it's the barreling round, now it's the carving round.
No, you pick a card after every wave, so you're going in, you don't know what the wave is, and as you paddle for it, that wave does it.
Yeah. And then you've got to make do with what you got,
yeah,
which is what happens in the ocean.
Yeah, which is what happens.
I surfed Snowdonia the first time I surfed it. I really enjoyed it. It was clean, the wind was low, the waves were good. And I had a double session there. I had a session the night before as well, so I'd surfed plenty of waves. Must have ridden like 40 waves or something, all told. And then it just so happened that there was a bit of swell running. And so I went out to surf, Porthcawl. Do you ever surf there?
No, I haven't been lucky enough to get up there.
The one that looks a bit like Broadhaven. And I went and surfed that the same afternoon that I'd been surfing Snowdonia in the morning. And it was a real good sort of reminder of like what the ocean is that a pool or a tank isn't, you know. 50 seconds remaining in this heat then. So I've been wiping my eyes out with the binoculars, trying to catch what's going on. What I can tell you is that Kieran Smith would need a 5.21 if he was going to take it. Joe and Peg would need a 6.01 and Finn Gillespie would need a 6.61. There's a score dropping for Finn Gillespie, which is not going to make that difference. And we've got all the waves in at the moment, so it's all down to whether or not somebody picks one up in these closing seconds. 15 seconds are remaining in the heat. And here we go. We're going to count out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
Didn't have the head.
Didn't have the head, and I think he's been struggling the last few years, hasn't he?
But still, if you see him surf, he's still in a free surf, especially on a beach break, high performance.
Yeah.
He's as good as anyone.
Incredible, such style and so inventive. That idea of like not being held back by the sort of the conventions of how you should surf a wave.
No, there's no rules in his game.
No. In this heat, then, in red, Belle Betteridge. In white is Tegan Blackford. So Jessie Van Wyk is in the blue, and Aisha Sykes is in the yellow, and Francesca Sayer is in the green. So we got a lot of these guys looking to take chunks back and forth out of each other.
They've been battling at it all day today, and they're going to have many more events where they're going to be battling at it with each other, and they'll all be growing up with each other.
And these are the rivalries that are going to turn everybody into good surfers, though, aren't they?
It's all starting now, isn't it? The schools competition.
And a decent score drop in there for Belle Betteridge, 3.83. So that's a potential keeper. That obviously means that at this stage, everybody else that's the scale to beat. Aisha Sykes drops a score as well. Aisha Sykes a 1.83.
I can see Noah Capps warming up for his under-18s final now after this. Watching him lately, he's been really good. He's watching on his Instagram, he's looking really professional, making the open final today. So hopefully he puts a stamp down as he has.
He's got his dad Mark by there carrying his spare board. Mark, the Charlie Medina of the South Coast. Yeah, nice blend of power and style, and I think to do that in these waves that we've got here today with a bit of chop on the face, it's commendable surfing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's shown great athleticism in his surfing.
Score drop in here then for Aisha Sykes, another one. It's going to put her temporarily into the lead, but that'll be before Belle Bettridge gets a second wave. So Aisha Sykes drops to 2.17. And I'll hand you over to Rob Blythe, who's back. What's on, Rob?
Helo.
Welcome
Pryn
back.
hawn da, pawb.
Sut wyt ti?
O, dwi'n hapus iawn, ach, ond wedi blino. That means I'm happy, but I'm a little bit tired. It's because I've been sitting here for much of the day in the sun, in a bit of the drizzle we had earlier, and in the wind. I am windburnt. I've just been up to the bathroom, and I have a very red face.
Yeah, I just did a checkup as well. Unfortunately, Dave hasn't got any Welsh subtitles on, so we're just going to do a bit of both.
Now, having heard a few whispers about the comments on the live feed, I went for a quick look, doing my best to avoid any mention of the rugby. And I saw one of the people who had written that Rest Bay is the worst wave in Wales, and it was James McGregor.
Can't judge anyway, so good job he's not here.
James McGregor. Absolutely classic nonsense being spouted by him.
He absolutely loves it.
But
he's got his wooden spoon out now, he's putting a steer up.
Nevertheless, diolch yn fawr for watching. And
it's always good.
Update me, Callum, I don't know what's going on. What heat are we in? Who's doing what?
We're currently in the under-18s girls final.
As some scores are coming in now for our surfer in blue, Jesse Van Wyk. We may see a change in situation. We'll keep you updated. In the meantime, if you are joining us online, croeso I Rest Bay Porthcawl. Welcome to Rest Bay Porthcawl for this, the UK Pro Surf Association's Welsh Open, presented by Gower College, Swansea. You join us on this sunny Saturday here in the jewel of the South Wales coast, Rest Bay, for the last few heats. And this is a call for Sol Hawkins and Finn Collins. No, is it? Finn, you are in the next heat. Please come and check in with the beach marshal. Gather your rash vest, and you'll be able to paddle out in about 4 minutes' time. Because
in current situation, we have in red.
We've got just over 8 minutes remaining.
And in red, Belle Bettridge, you are in first with an 8.66. In second is Aisha Sykes with a total of 4. You need a 6.5 first. In third is Tegan Blackford. You need an 3.34 to get into second. And in 5, Francesca Sayer, you need a 4.01 to progress, or for second.
So, all to play for here in the under-18 girls final. Following this, we'll have the under-18 boys final, followed by the women's open final, and then the men's open final. So just 3 heats remaining after the conclusion of this, the under-18 girls final. As we see some of the competitors for the boys, the junior boys under-18 final, making their way down our pebble-covered slipway here at Rest Bay. In these cold...
Sol Hawkins on the cobbles now, and he's struggling to get down.
Walking over those. When it's this wind's been blowing all day, you've been in the water, your feet are getting a bit cold. Walking over those pebbles can be mighty painful.
Yeah, you feel it after. Especially after a surf, that's when you feel it the most. But
yeah, I try and avoid wearing boots until about mid to late November, because I'd much rather surf barefoot. But I've noted quite a few of our competitors wearing boots that I even saw, believe it or not, first thing this morning. You'd think he'd be used to the cold. Mark Boyd of Thurso wearing boots and gloves in the water. I was stunned.
Yeah, last night there, I took Mark to a local point break, and he turned up in a 654 hood, gloves, boots, and I was there in my 3-2 boots laughing at him, and he was absolutely boiling. And this morning then he decided to put it all back on again.
Was that down Swansea way?
Yeah, that's spot. Beep. No, it was a good wave. Had a couple.
See, it's been a pretty dire autumn for surf here on the South Wales coast. We've had the odd flurry of swell, we've had the odd window of nice wind and weather, but on the whole,
I think about a couple of days off, and
good for you.
very lucky.
Not jealous. No, it's there's been waves.
You were more than invited. Paddles much.
That's true. There's the problem is, as soon as you kind of head past Port Talbot to the west, the quality of waves diminishes substantially.
I know.
You get more consistent, but it's just...
The water gets so much cleaner. It's just.
Well,
it's
see,
it's amazing.
well, I'll call you up on that, because although it may look, well, I mean, the water here is brown, it's sediment.
Yes, it's only murky.
It's sediment. It's actually spotlessly clean. Thank you very much to the an EU directive on water quality, which probably about 15, 20 years ago cleaned up the Severn Estuary to unprecedented levels of cleanliness, and it's one of the many fantastic EU laws that has been brought in to help better our environment here, and it's benefited us massively here on the South Wales coast. Of course, we've got a lot of industry on the coast, and thanks to those good chaps in Brussels, we can now enjoy our beaches and coastline all the better.
We're extremely lucky. The Cornish guys are lucky enough to see their feet every time they're in the water, and South Wales aren't quite as lucky because we have the Severn Estuary running through our water.
Well, that's it. Severn Estuary, second biggest tidal range in the world, and that huge rise and fall of tide, it's around 14 metres at its peak, off around Barry. That huge rise and fall, of course, drags in and out sediment all of the time, and that's what gives the water its kind of its brown colour. But during the summer, we had a flat spell of about about a month and a half, and come the end of it, even Rest Bay had clear water. You could see your feet.
I was lucky enough to be on a boat one of them days, and I think I was 15 feet deep and being able to see all the reef and fish underneath me.
Nice yawn.
I do.
As we give you an update on the heat as soon as our technology allows.
I'm just going to look at... Now the cloud's gone over the... Hello, we're just looking for the beach marshal. There's 3.5 minutes remaining.
Surfers in the water, you have 3.5 minutes remaining. We'll give you a situation update as soon as technology complies. And by now, our under 18 boys finalists should be on the water's edge looking to paddle out. As live updates come through, there are 2 minutes 20 seconds remaining in this heat. Currently in 4th position, Tegan Blackford, our surfer in white, requires a near perfect 9.07 to take first. In 3rd position, Jessie Van Wyk in blue, requiring a 8.31 to take first. We have Francesca Sayer in green. She currently sits in 5th place, needing a 9.74. And surfer in red, Belle Bettridge, out in the lead with a combined total of a 9.73, comprising of a 4.9 and a 4.83. 2 solid scores there, Callum. Do you think any of the surfers can do it? I suppose it's up to Asha Sykes in yellow's got the best bet, because she requires a 6.31, which is very much attainable in these conditions.
Yeah, and I don't even think Gabriel Medina would score a 10 in this, but hopefully that couple of sets come through and she progresses and earns herself some higher spots.
All to play for with just over 1 minute remaining in this heat. So some scores dropping for Red, but it will not change the situation. Her best two waves remain a 4.83 and a 4.9. That last score coming in at a 2.63 with just 1 minute remaining. Surfers in the water, you have 1 minute remaining.
Now the tide turned about half an hour ago. It's going to come up a bit. Swell's going to pick up a little, hopefully a little bit, but they're well contestable conditions.
Well contestable, and you're absolutely right, Callum. As that tide pushes in a little bit more, we'll see a jump in the swell size. The wind was forecast to drop, and I've got faith that it will do so, especially as that sun sits a little bit lower in the sky and cools the kind of the air temperature. The wind should drop, so we should be seeing some fantastic conditions, hopefully, for the women's and men's finals. And of course, with that tide pushing in, it'll be all the clearer to see online and here in the booth. That sun's popped back out, making visibility quite difficult, but we are down to the last 10 seconds of this one. We're going to wrap it up, counting down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
And I look forward to watching them in their entirety as
we're
we see the loyal caddy of Emily Curry.
We're currently the final. In yellow we have Sol Hawkins, and in blue we have Finn Collins. And we've just seen somebody have a spectacular wave doing a number of big turns, so we'll be waiting for scores in just a moment.
So looking out on this sunny Saturday afternoon across the Rest Bay Vista to the east, you can see the north coast of Somerset and Devon, stretching across the Heartland Point in the very distance, where Devon becomes Cornwall. And
if you look to your right,
to the west, you can see the lovely Swansea base stretching out. What's the furthest point we can see in the Gower there, Tom?
I think that's where I was surfing yesterday.
Shall name no names.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where I was yesterday. Couple of bowly ones.
Not long left to run today. We've got just this heat and 2 more following it. The Women's Open Final, featuring a great range of talent, and then the Men's Open Final.
Yeah, the men's has been a great, this morning it was great to watch and surf against some of the best surfers in the UK. Just to be in the water in their presence, they have so much drive and enthusiasm. It makes me want to surf better, and that's why I like competing, because it pushes me.
Peony Night, if you can hear this, can you come and check in, please? Your heat will be going in the water shortly. Peony Night, come and check in.
Just for that.
The power of the microphone. Here she comes. As that sun takes a break and it hides behind a cloud, giving us an opportunity to actually see what's going on in the lineup.
Not much.
We have 11 minutes remaining in this heat, and the situation as it stands is thus: in 4th place, Lucas Skinner, the surfer in red. You need a 2.34 to take first. You've yet to score a wave. There may be some to drop. In 3rd. Oh, so we have... Oh, just one wave ridden, I beg your pardon. So that's Noah Capps, and he has scored a 2.33. So it's all to play for with just under 11 minutes remaining here at Rest Bay.
Good. I think the final of the women's is going to be good as well. They're all pushing each other, and the women's scene is good to see. Women's surfing come on so much.
That's right, Callum. Tom and I was talking about equity of pay and equality of pay in women's surfing, and we were both saying how proud we are to be surfers, and we're one of the not the first by any stretch, but one of the first sports at its highest level at WSL to offer equal pay to both the men's and women's division. And it's a necessary step, I think. For years and years, I think women's surfing suffered from being put in the worst conditions, not being paid a fair amount of money, and it's all changed now under the new guidance of the WSL, so kudos to them for doing it. I'd like to point out actually that Welsh surf clubs, such as the Welsh Surf Club, Channel Coast, have for a long time offered equal prizes and prize money in our local events.
Well, that's the thing. Women's surfing's pushing it so hard now. You got women like Lakey Peterson and Steph Gilmore, which could probably surf on the world stage to the men, so that they do deserve the money.
Absolutely. Well, I said to Tom earlier, there's no one I'd rather watch at Kelly Slater's Wave Ranch than Stephanie Gilmore. She's fantastic to watch out there.
Almost too perfect though. It's like let her bog rail once, isn't it? It's almost like
she is. Her style is certainly flawless. As we see a few waves ridden in an exchange here in the
I think that's
18 boys final. That was Lucas Skinner, the surfer in red, stringing together several turns there. As you rightly point out, Callum, it's about his 150th wave of the day. He has been in every single heat that I've watched.
I wonder if we added up all his top 2 scores, what his average would be.
That would be an interesting one.
He's been surfing a pretty high standard. Up and riding there is...
I would ask Tom to do that for us on the computer, but he's...
Finn Collins, the goofy footer, and he just did a nice carve to snap. The temperature's dropping dramatically now. Glad I got my jacket on. Rob, you've had your jacket on all day as well?
Yeah, I've been wrapped up warm. There is you won't catch me in a t-shirt. I saw Phil Williams of Christian Surfers wandering about in shorts and t-shirt earlier, and it is definitely not warm enough for that. It's been a pretty cold week here in South Wales. I had a near frost earlier in the week. I had to get a bit of hot water on my windscreen. I know that's not the advised technique. However, it is what I do to get away quickly.
I've been steamed up a few times in the mornings, but early starts and work mean early finishes, and then I can get surfing.
It is cold, but a lovely sunny afternoon nonetheless here at Rest Bay, Porthcawl, the jewel in the crown of the South Wales coast, and plenty of people out and about enjoying the weather. A nice break from all the rain we've been having the past month. Unprecedented levels of rainfall here over the past week. You know, I forgot what the sun looked like.
It's nice to have a contest in the UK and not be stuck in the van or the car the whole time, and be able to come out and have some fun in the sun.
That's it. Well, do you know what? As far as contest venues goes, Rest Bay is actually quite a nice one because you can take shelter in the cafe, although the new cafe at the Rest Bay Water Sports Centre isn't open yet. I am advised that the coffee shop will be open next week and the restaurant shortly thereafter, but you can always get out of the weather in Rest. You're only a 2-minute drive from town, whereas some of the other venues that I've certainly competed at over the years, you're quite isolated, quite often in a muddy car park, nowhere to get a coffee, nowhere to get a bacon sandwich. So as it goes, you know what, Rest Bay is pretty nice destination.
Yeah, the part, especially now the new facilities here is fantastic. It's almost pushing up with when you're down Newquay and you're in Fistral Beach. That I think the facilities down there are fantastic.
Do you know what we got now, Callum?
Hot showers.
Warm showers.
And I think hot showers mean anyone's going to surf, and that's what puts kids off at a young age, not wanting to get.
Do you know what? It's kind of a rite of passage, though, isn't it? Getting forced into a wetsuit, frozen solid, of a Sunday morning, chucked in the sea in the middle of winter.
Especially when you don't. If you don't dry your wetsuit, it's honestly the worst feeling in the world.
I am guilty of that all the time. I come in and I can't be bothered. I just chuck it on the floor. Look out the next day and it's frozen to the grass.
Or even taking your wetsuit off and then realising it's still pumping, putting a wetsuit back on.
I mean, that's a norm, isn't it? Lots of people like to have 2 wetsuits in the winter, but I've plenty of times put on a freezing cold wetsuit. I remember being with Ezra and George through the local surface here, and all of us had left our wetsuits out on Ezra's grass overnight, and we had to snap the legs to get into them the next morning. It's absolutely miserable, but like I say, a rite of passage. Something that surfers in the tropical areas of the world will know nothing about. I pity them.
I think it's part of the sport, and it's what's good. And
certainly around here,
the people who are going to be in the wave pools are always going to be changing hot showers, and as soon as they experience a contest, if they're doing well in the beaches, they'll realise how hard and tough some of the UK surfers really put up with it.
I heard you and Tom talking about the wave pool earlier, and you were saying that when these wave pools start to spring up in places that don't really have a beach culture or a surf culture, then we're going to be seeing different manoeuvres and different variations on manoeuvres, and certainly different lines drawn on a wave. And there's a really interesting point you made there. And speaking about surfing in the UK, one of my friends was on a stag do down in Newquay the other week, and he's a good surfer, keen surfer. But he said that one of the other guys on the stag do was a good surfer, but had never surfed in the UK. He lived in London and had only ever surfed in Indonesia. Every year he went on a 3 or 4 week trip, a couple times a year, and had only ever surfed in board shorts. And Newquay 3 weeks ago was his first time in a wetsuit. Astonishing.
I felt sorry for him.
But you know what? He loved it. Apparently, he had a big grin on his face the whole weekend. He was saying how fantastic surfing in the UK was.
Well, I've grown up watching cold water surfing videos, watching like Dark Fall and films like that with Pat Dark, and I think that's what's made me want that cold water experience.
Now, you might be a bit young for this one, Callum. How old are you, Callum, if you don't mind me asking?
21.
You are. You'll definitely be too young for this one. Tom will remember it keenly, though. And it's this European surf film, E2K. Do you remember that one, Tom?
Carwyn Williams,
Gary Alkerton.
Alkerton, yeah.
Who else was on it? Mick Campbell.
Yeah. And then they followed it up with
Spencer
another movie.
Spencer Hargreaves up in the Arctic Circle somewhere.
They followed it up with another movie, The Back Nine.
Yes, they was on the Senyos Golf Course,
because they filmed it on the Back Nine of Senyos Golf Course. The clip in that of somebody, I forget who it is, falling in to the ice at Carwyn's pool.
And cutting themselves open is miserable, isn't it? I should have to
it
interrupt you for a second, Tom, because I need an update here. We've got 2 minutes 35 seconds remaining in this heat, and I'll give you an update on the scores. In 4th position is the surfer in yellow, Sol Hawkins, though a score is about to drop. He requires a 10.38 to take first. In third position is our surfer in blue, Finn Collins, needs a 9.85 to take first. In second, Noah Capps, the surfer in white, who's about to drop a score, but he requires a 6.58 to take first. His new score will not change anything. And Lucas Skinner, our surfer in red, is out in front with a combined total of 13.34. All to play for as we move into the final 2 minutes of this.
With the best chance of catching him. Noah Capps will be needing a 6.58 if he's going to be able to do that. So all eyes to the horizon to see whether Rick turn around. Here we go. Noah Capps needing a 6.58. One minute and 20 seconds remaining.
So Tom, yeah, E2K. Talk to me.
E2K. I don't reckon the family of Noah Capps want us talking about E2K for a second here, because he needs a score if he's going to try and get the big win. There is a minute remaining. Noah Capps needs a 6.58. So keep an eye out for Noah Capps in the white chair, needing a 6.58.
Well, he's already dropped a 6.77 and a 5.17, so it's fully within his grasp.
Up and down there, and so here we have a paddle. Noah is...
He's our surfer in white, and we've just got 30 seconds remaining in this heat. 30 seconds remaining.
And I think there's a set coming through here. It's really hard to make out through the glare, but I think we're going to see a paddle from Noah.
As one of our surfers up and riding. Stringing together some impressive turns. Lots of spray going off the back of that.
Noah
you can really
is on
see it
his
in the
feet.
glare.
He's going right, and he's going to smack the end section. He gets his fins up and out. He comes around and gives the
very
left
nice,
close
strong
out
finishing
too.
maneuver.
This is going to reform
that
for him here.
brings to a close the final.
He's going to get another turn and close out Rio, and he manages to stick the close out Rio.
So all those scores will likely count.
That's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much of all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
Peony Night in red. A good bit of WQS experience. Emily Curry also surfed on the QS. Emily Curry who also doubles up as a brilliant longboarder.
Yeah, well, I went down to the World Championships, the ISA World Games of longboarding in Biarritz this year with the British team, and
Emily Curry is amazing on the longboard.
So fluid,
and brilliant
so
on the
much style.
shortboard.
Brilliant in both, yeah. So, equally talented in each, and may I say, a lovely young lady.
Yeah. Peony Knight was out there in Japan, came through a couple of rounds at the Worlds in Miyazaki.
Her boyfriend George was down in France with her, and it was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen take place on a beach. He got caught in the infamous Hossegor shore break in a wetsuit that was unzipped and it filled with water, and he almost drowned. As we stand by to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that noise marks the start of the Women's Open Final, a stacked heat by anyone's standards. And we await some exciting action sure to come to you now.
We're also still waiting on whether Noah Cap's got that score. Bit of
if you're just joining us,
late ICT related excitement.
Welcome, croeso, bienvenue à Rest Bay, Porthcawl, for this, the UK Pro Surf Association Welsh Open presented by Gower College, Swansea. A big diolch yn fawr. A thank you to all of the event sponsors, everybody that's come down today to watch, to cheer on, to surf and support in any which way. We've got just 2 heats remaining, 40 minutes of surfing coming to you live from the jewel in the crown of the South Wales coast. As the tide pushes in past the cove, we're going to see a slight increase in wave size. The wind is forecast to drop.
So we will now find out if Noah Cap's picked up that score at the end there. So just a few moments, Noah, and we will find out whether or not that buzzer beater was a buzzer beater or a buzzer attempted beater. Would have needed to be the second highest wave of the heat to get the score. We're just waiting for an ICT update. Meanwhile, Callum, you're cold.
Yeah. I was just writing down, and I had to pass the pen over. My hand was freezing, and my hands were clicking, so there's no point me trying. My handwriting's bad on a good day.
Now I'm a left-handed writing. Do you smudge? I saw you were left.
I am a left.
As we see a surfer in red up and riding. Oh, I beg your pardon. It was someone outside of the contest area.
Yeah, I am a left. I am a left-handed writer, and
do you smudge?
Yeah,
I'm a terrible smudger.
Left-handed as well.
I'm a lefty. Yeah, I'm left-handed at writing, but right-handed at sports.
Yeah, and me. I'm also left-footed, but I surf regular.
Well, do you know what? Local surfer Mark Schofield, former European champion, surfs regular, skates goofy.
I'm pretty sure there's only ever one person I know, and that's Patrick Dark's brother. He skates one way and surfs the other.
Can he do them competently?
He's pretty good at surfing and pretty good at skating, but he's no Pat Dark.
So we just had a bit of action from our surfer in red, Peony Knight, with a quick up and down, and coming unstuck there. We will be bringing you live scores. We are just waiting for our technology to catch up with what's going on as we look out on the beautiful Rest Bay vista on this, a sunny Saturday in mid-October. Croeso i'r Rest Bay. Welcome to Rest Bay. If you're just joining us live online at ukprosurf.com or on the Facebook page.
Results are in for the under-18s boys final. In first place, Lucas Skinner with a 13.3. In second place, Noah Caps with a 12.1. In third place, Finn Collins with a 6.13. And in fourth place, Sol Hawkins with a 5.44.
So Noah Caps not quite getting the score there. Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
They gave him a 3.5 for that last wave. So, you know, the going rate was... yeah, there'd been some serious score inflation going on over the course of the event there, because, you know, this morning that was the kind of score that would have got people through any heat. We've had Peony Knight take off on a left and give it a clip here. I'm not quite sure whether they'll give a completion for it. Rode out into the sort of trough of the whitewater, but maybe not. She
scored a 1.5 for that wave.
So I think they didn't give a completion on it.
But she's had another wave and she scored a 5.17.
Okay, so that kind of sets the scale for this final, and that's not a score to be sniffed at. What was it, Callum, sorry?
5.17.
5.17, that's going to leave her at the top of the leaderboard in the Women's Open final here at the UK Pro Surf Association Welsh Open, presented by Gower College, Swansea.
Little topic, boys. Most surfing competitions have priority. What are your thoughts on priority surfing competitions?
Oh, I'm all for it. It's much more difficult, obviously, when you're running 4-man heats. In a 2-man heat, though, definitely, it's a game changer. I used to like watching surfing back in the 80s and early 90s, where it was a bit of a scrap for priority at the start. Now it seems to be done on whoever's caught the first wave. However,
can we have a call out for the Ash brothers to grab their jerseys, please?
Ruben and Joss come to the beach marshal. The men's open finalists, we see our surfer in red, Patrick Langdon Dark, and our surfer in white, Noah Capps, suited and booted, ready to get going. We're just waiting for the Ash brothers. So yeah, back to the priority. I used to like the scrap for priority. It's changed somewhat, however, it does still serve an important purpose in those 2-man heats, certainly.
Well, you get a scrap for priority at the start of a 2-man heat as well, don't you now? Priority works really nicely in a 4-man heat, but it's really hard to judge because you need somebody basically judging every colour. So, you know, the personnel, it's the kind of thing actually you've got more chance of doing it at like a club contest where everybody's volunteering and happy to take part than you have at a competition where you've got to pay people to be down the beach for the day, because you need, the priority judge has got to sort of constantly keep ranking people. You either need a computer program to do it through. Hard to do, hard to signal, you need extra infrastructure. We've got a blast off the top there.
Yeah, I can't see who it is. I've seen a bit of spray.
I'll tell you who that is.
Milk.
I got the binoculars. That is the surfer in silhouette. I think that was red.
And of course,
I think that was Peony Knight. And that was, if that was Peony Knight, that was going to be that's going to
another
really
surfer up and riding on a right-hander, pumping their way through to the inside, coming around the white water.
Yeah,
there.
that's Emily Curry in
and
white.
Not managed to make it out to the face.
So at the moment, Peony is pushing into the lead. If that was Peony in silhouette just then, as I want to call it, because I couldn't see the colour even through the binoculars, that would be a good score. So we'll know it was her very shortly when we see a score drop, and it has dropped.
Okay, so currently in first place is Peony Knight with a 10.1. In second place, Emily Curry with a 4.67. She needs a 7.1 to advance to first. In third place is Lucy Campbell with a 4.6. She needs a 6.28 to advance to first.
Yeah, Peony Knight really smacking that wave around just then. So this is a good lead that she's amassed. Now Emily has got a 3. So she'd need a 7.1, wouldn't she, to take the lead there? So actually, the surfer in third actually needs less to get into first. Lucy Campbell, on account of having a bigger score for her first wave. Lucy yet to back that up with anything. What you were saying about priority.
I saw an interesting call in the priority yesterday at the WSL event in Portugal, and it is open to human error.
Here goes Peony. Cuts back to the main source.
Perhaps we could.
Because, you know, she was at the World Games. You know, it's that simple. She goes to the 2020 World Games again. She gets into the 6 within the 30, but doesn't come from any of the countries that have already qualified. That's the simplest I've ever managed to put it. And she's going.
You've done the impossible. You've simplified the route to the Olympics.
You've got to get into the 6 that weren't in the 30, the 6 that's still in the 30. Here goes a big lipper there, which is not quite completed. Now, I think that was Lucy Campbell in the yellow. But that was, unfortunately, again, a surfer in silhouette is the colour. Yeah, you've got to get inside the 6 surfers, which is still inside the 30. And they can't come from any other country that's already qualified.
Within the top 2 of the
Within the
people.
top 2 of that country, yeah. So,
for example, Dai Quinn now, if he got into the top 20,
if he gets into the top 30 at the 2020 Worlds,
and there's no one in that.
There's not more than 6 people. There's not more than 5 people above him from an unqualified, from a country that hasn't got 2 people in the Olympics already. Which is why things like the Israeli surfer making it is not good news for the chance of the Brit. Here goes Emily Curry, stuck a little bit behind the section, still puts a bit of power into that turn. And then we've got going up in the yellow Lucy Campbell, and she gives that a big crack but doesn't quite land it. So that's why something like the Israeli surfer qualifying
So as we were saying
in the
earlier, though,
ladies, so that's Anna Laylor, her qualifying. That's bad news for any other country, because you basically want as many surfers from France, Brazil,
there's
the
certain-
USA and
there's
Australia
certain
above you
countries
as
you'd
possible.
expect to fill their quota. So Australia, America.
So you want as many of those people. You know, you can finish 29th in the Worlds if the 28 people in front of you are from America, Australia, Brazil.
And there's a strong likelihood of that happening. Of those 29 places being filled by.
It could
surfers
happen.
from that
It could
country.
absolutely happen.
They only have 3 from each country to be in. So,
Oh yeah, the team
so they
quota
can
in the
knock
first
each
place
other
to be
out.
in the Worlds contest. Is it 3 or is it 4, Cal? I think
3.
they take 4. See, I'm just trying to think what the teams were at the 2019.
I think it's 3 because the UK took Jace Robinson, Jay Quinn, and Nathan Elms.
But was that because other people couldn't raise the funds to go, or was it because
No,
that was the country quota? Because I'm just trying to think what.
I think that's the team because
the
I think
quota.
a lot of people would have grabbed their spot if they could have,
Yeah. Yeah.
and potentially got themselves into an Olympic spot.
So there we are. Look at that. We've done our research into all the little intricacies of the ISA, but we didn't check the simple bit about how many people are allowed into a team for the Worlds. That's the kind of thing that there's probably a lot of people on the beach here who know that. But there's nobody in the booth who knows it for sure. But I'm going to run with Callum because I think you tend to know your stuff.
I've been stuck in a car with Pat telling me a lot of comments.
So Pat says he knows this, does he? How much do you trust Pat's facts?
Well, surfing is kind of anything apart from.
He's quite good in school, Pat, wasn't he?
Oh, he's not too bad. He's quite switched on. He's quite smart.
He is.
He's never, ever on time. But apart from that, yeah, he's good. Never rushes. Somebody then, I think that was Red, did a big finner, and somebody up behind.
Yeah, here we go. This is Lucy Campbell behind, and
Oh,
that's
nice,
a
nice
big
turn.
Rio. There's fantastic, great standard of surfing here in this. In the red, then, at the moment, Peony Knight leads. We haven't had any more scores dropped onto the computer yet. We got a 6.3. That's the clock. 6 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this heat.
And
it is now cold. Here comes scores.
a big score dropping from the judges as the sun sinks low in the sky, casting
Oh,
it
yeah.
across the sea.
Peony
I turn
Knight.
to the screen and I see a 9-point ride has dropped for Peony Knight. She now has a heat total of 14.83. That puts her far out in first place with a 9 and a 5.3. Her next closest competitor is Lucy Campbell in yellow, sitting on a heat total of 8.4, requiring a combination of 10.27.
So everyone's
for
comboed.
second. We've got a combination.
Peony
sufficient.
Knight has comboed
I've been
everyone.
waiting to say it all day.
Peony Knight has
She's
comboed
comboed.
everyone. That's it, everyone's comboed.
So,
5
for
minutes
those of you
40
not
left.
familiar with the surfing vernacular, being comboed means that you have to get a combination of 2 waves totaling more than 10 points, because of course 10-point ride is the highest you can score on any single wave, and so the combination is higher than that available on one single wave, so she requires 2.
we've just done a little.
Yeah, okay. I'll take this one. Surfers on the beach. Very important commands from contest control. Paddle out to the left of the glare, please. You've got to paddle out to the left of our station. Left of the, right, third time lucky on this, the left of the truck. Surfers, make sure you stay left of the truck. If you go in front of the truck, you cannot be seen due to the glare and you will not be scored. You must stay to the left of the truck, the judging truck. I love it.
So, Tom, you and I have competed at Rest Bay many times. As we hear the time call, 4.5 minutes remaining in this heat, the women's final. Tom, you and I have surfed many heats here. We've run many contests between us. And Rest Bay, not dissimilar to any west-facing beach in the UK, suffers from this afternoon glare, and it makes judging extremely difficult. It makes spectating extremely difficult, and it makes commentating on the action nigh on impossible unless you are equipped with a pair of binoculars and are sitting either to the east or the west of the action so you can see what's going on.
And the black book full of filler topics to go in between.
Fortunately for us, we have a pair of binoculars and a black book full of filler topics.
I'm very lucky to have the pole in the stand right in the glare, so I got either side missing it. But yeah, I bet the morning lights here is good for photography, and I bet the morning shots here are really good.
Yeah, we're quite lucky here that we have quite a few really talented photographers that are more than willing to sacrifice their time to photograph us going about our business in the waves as that autumnal sun sinks ever lower.
Peony Knight just taking a sniff at her left there, but not going. Just wondering to see if she can push that convo even higher. And we're going to see Lucy Campbell also sniffing one. There's good scoring potential on those sections.
Yeah, I think now the tide's pushing in, it's creating a lot more scoring opportunities as they're all making. It's a tough final. The girls are going to have to catch up with Peony Knight, but there is waves out there to be surfed.
And I shall take this opportunity to give you an update on the scores as we have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Our surfer in 5th place is the surfer in blue, Francesca Sayer. She requires a combination of 13.21 to go into first, but a 6.78 to take second in 4th position.
Up next is the men's open final. It's going to be a fantastic heat, as this heat has been.
And surfer in green, Tegan Blackford, you're in 4th. You require a combination of 11.24 to take first, but a 4.81 to take second. In 3rd position is the surfer in white, Emily Curry. You require a combination of 11.14 for first and a 4.71 for second. Surfer in 2nd position, it's Lucy Campbell in the yellow. You require a combination of 10.27 for first, and out in front by quite some way is our surfer in red, Olympic hopeful Peony Knight, with a combination of a 14.83, comprised of a 5.83 and a very high scoring 9-point ride. 9-point ride is hard to come by, and it was achieved through some spectacular surfing.
Up and riding's Peony Knight. She's got a section, there's a nice carve to snap, but she pulls out.
Yeah, she ejects there, deciding she's not going to pick up a bigger score.
This northerly wind is absolutely freezing, and there's 40 seconds remaining of the women's final. Up next is the men's.
Peony Knight is not far off a grand here. Well, I would say actually with the combo. Yeah, 500 quid. The grand is shared 4 ways, isn't it? I would say not far off now with the combo. It's pretty much impossible for 2 people to get a ride, or for somebody to get 2 rides. So that's it. She's got it. It's just been a dominant performance from the start to the finish, hasn't it?
Oh, big turn from whoever that was. Maybe got a little score.
And there we go, that's the end of this heat. The horn blows, 3, 2, 1.
Whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. It's a world community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we can all do our bit, I think big changes can happen.
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't wear plugs, I'd pretty much get an ear infection every time I surfed. My brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had surfer's ear surgery, so that really inspired me to start wearing plugs and taking care of my ears.
Throwing buckets on that one, and again finishing extremely strongly. An exceptional opening exchange in this, the men's final. If you are here at Rest Bay, cast your eyes seaward and appreciate some of the finest surfers in the UK going about their business. 20-minute heats, of course, for the men's open final. Lots of surfing to display and lots of surfing to enjoy, Tom.
Yeah, another set coming through there, and we got an in and out for Pat, I think that was.
I think.
And another set. Sets are stacking up now. We got a decent bit of size going on. So a good start there. I reckon that was Josh Ash. I couldn't quite see it in the colours, in the glare, and then I think it was Noah Caps behind him.
I agree with you, Tom. I think it was Josh Ash with that fantastic opening left-hander. And we can see Patrick Landon Dark bash off the foam, the surfer in red, weaving his way through to the inside, hoping for an end section and not quite finding one, kicking out the back of that wave. As you mentioned, conditions have improved somewhat with that incoming tide. The wind still hanging around, but we've seen a substantial jump in the size of the waves, giving plenty of scoring opportunity for our 4 finalists in this, the men's open final of the Welsh Open, presented by Gower College of Swansea.
Do you know what? We're about to be able to count the glare down. That sun's going behind a cloud, and all of a sudden we're going to be able to see everything.
Yeah, it's going to be a good.
As if by magic, the stars are aligning, or
Just
one
for the
great big
final.
star is about to hide, and we're going to be able to watch the final in relative comfort for our poor eyes that have been subjected to solar abuse for the majority of this afternoon, as we see a surfer, I believe it's Ruben Ash, weaving his way through, cracking off the foam and finishing that wave again extremely strongly. 2 fantastic waves for the Ash brothers to open their accounts, and we've seen waves ridden by all 4 finalists. Noah Caps, the surfer in white, Patrick Landon Dark, the surfer in red, Josh Ash, the surfer in yellow, and current title holder Ruben Ash, Welsh Open champion of 2018. Can he make it the double in 2019? We will find out in about 18 minutes.
Current scores are in first place, Noah Caps with a 5.1 for that first wave. In second place, oh sorry, there's been another change. In first place is Ruben Ash with a 7.37 on his first wave. Second place is Noah Caps with a 5.1. In third place is Patrick Langdon Dark with a 1.83. And fourth place is Josh Ash with a 0.67. So as the clouds come over the sun, there's plenty of time for waves.
Coming up the beach there as well, the ladies are coming back. There we see in the red, 500 quid richer, Peony Night. 9-point ride in that way, in that heat. Absolutely smashed her way through it.
And you mentioned the money, Tom, £500, but let's not neglect to mention the points. 1,000 points up for grabs to help Peony Knight pursue her dreams of becoming the Women's UK Pro Surf Tour champion for 2019.
Yeah,
Equal prize money and equal points.
Looking stoked about the back. I think it's Ruben Ash. Goes to the air, big air reverse and sticks it.
He stomps the landing, spinning out of that reverse cleanly and kicking out the back of the wave. Again with a no claim, puffing his chest out, pushing his legs into the white water.
Big backhand turn.
Swansea boy, Patrick Landon Dark, cutting back to the white water, forcing it on his inside toe rail to cut back, smashes one off the foam, and he finds another bit of open face, connecting 3 really spectacular turns together, whipping back towards the foam. Can he finish this wave strongly? He's a lightweight, which is helping him in these conditions, and he surfs that fantastically well. That will help his cause no end.
First wave, first turn there for Pat on that wave. That was a Christmas tree. That was a spray.
There was plenty of cups of milk on that wave thrown.
And here we go, Noah caps with an in and out just behind. So the action's coming thick and fast. Sun's down behind the cloud, we can see everything. This is just an idyllic ending. Big well done to the ladies there, absolutely brilliant surfing in that heat.
In the spirit of the bilingualism and the trilingualism we've been exhibiting at times during the commentary today, Tom, Coed Nadolig, would that be correct? Would it be on the right lines?
Yeah, it would. It's called Coed Nadolig. Yeah, the word coed means wood. Nadolig, Christmas. Coed Nadolig, yeah. Because that's the word that the Welsh use.
As again we see another big manoeuvre.
Massive score's just been dropped. Patrick Langdon Dark has dropped an 8.33 and he puts himself in first. His first, sorry.
And we've got a fins out. Oh, that was a reverse there, but not quite stuck. I think that was Ruben Ash on a little lump. But Patrick, what a score!
Oh, sorry, he dropped a 6.5 and his total's an 8.33, but he's currently in first. Dropped to second is Ruben Ash with a 5 and a 2.3.
Ruben has got, so both Ruben's scores are lower than Pat's top score. So Patrick Langdon Dark also still without a backup. So once he backs that up, going to be in rude shape indeed there. Now, you were asking me there, Rob, coed, the word wood. So in Welsh they use the same word for wood and for tree. That's what Old English used to do as well. The word rood also meant tree, and the holy rood was a cross, and that's what the Scottish Assembly is named after. Did you know that, geekery?
Do you know what, I didn't. But
boys, I'm well uneducated here. I'm just sitting here not having a clue what's going on.
We've discussed etymology at length today. We've looked into Old English. We've looked into the roots of the French, Welsh, English languages. We've talked about the Saxon base for lots of the English language along with the French influences. And we've enjoyed some thoroughly good surfing as we continue to enjoy this, the men's final at the UK. Like
6.5.
Noah Cap's just pushing his total up a bit there, so I think Noah's going to be sitting in third place now. And Pat is up on one here. Patrick Langdon Dark, big re-entry off the closeout section. Up behind him, I think it's Ruben Ash. Big whack on the inside for Pat. Small sketch wave allows him, throws buckets on the last turn too. But it's be a completion on the last move, but before that, Ruben, I think that's going to certainly repeat on Ruben now.
I'll be honest, Ruben Ash went to town there and he went to work.
He went to work and he came back having bought yourself a Christmas tree.
So, as we have a score drop 3-4 to take first, judges. We have change in situation. Noah Capps, surfer or Patrick Landon Dark. We will likely see another change in situation as the scores update. In third, Joss Ash, the surfer in yellow. You require a 5.71 to jump into first.
Up and right in, it's a split peak.
Oh,
Noah went right. Noah goes for a big closeout turn. I don't know what happened on the left. What happened on the left, Tom?
Big closeout Rio with the fins up and free. And I'm just looking through the binoculars to try and confirm the colour. I think that was Joss. So we had a top turn, and then we had a big smack fins out on the closeout section, coming off a smaller section onto a bigger section.
And continuing the update for the surfers in the water, remains the same. Noah Capps in fourth, Joss Ash in yellow in third, second needing a 5.78 to take first. He has a combined total of 9.7, comprised of a 4.7 and a 5. Patrick Landon Dark is out in front, the surfer in red. He has a combined total of 10.77, made up of a 6.5 and an impressive 4.27 backup wave. Yet more scores to drop. Will it change the situation? We await confirmation, and no, it will not go into his last wave. His last wave coming through to 3.93. He needs a 5.78 to take that win, that first place.
Look at this right, he does a massive closeout section.
Rio, but it's just the closeout section, so that will be another conundrum for the judges there.
God, this final has kept me on my toes.
There is a Welsh crowd certainly cheering Pat on. Callum, I don't think you're going to be too able to hide your bias here as one of Pat's best mates. Your best mate is currently in with a chance of taking it down.
Yeah, he's definitely buying the next pint, if anything goes well.
Callum, do you think he'd prefer the £500 or the 1,000 points?
He's quite hungry for surfing. He'd probably like the £500 because he might be able to come up to Thursday with us, but the points will get him on the tour.
Noah Capps.
Up and right,
Noah Capps looking for the right section there and elects to kick out. Now this is Joss Ash. Just checking with the binoculars, that is Joss Ash, and he's really smashed that one, and now he's got himself onto the left as well, but just like his brother on the wave before, just digs it a little bit too hard on that last snap. It doesn't really matter, it was the end of the wave.
Isn't it mad by the time we get to the final, the standard the boys surf at and the women, and how hard they put their turns on, make average waves look so good. Like, you'd really want to be in there right now.
Completely agree with you, Callum, yeah, and I mean, I think an example of that, here we go, this is Ruben Ash, he looks up, gets up the lip, coming round, that wave just doesn't cooperate with him. Completely agree with you, and I think a good example of that was one of the little closeout sections where the foam just bounced up in Peony Knight's face on that big 9, and the way she just pushed the board straight through it, you know, that was a big lump of chop, just driving through it. It's as if, I don't know, they got magical rails on their boards, you know. I want to believe that if I was on their board I'd do the same thing, but I know it's not true.
So, what do you think it is that separates the guys that are in the final today from the likes of the rest of us? What makes them that much faster, that much more secure on their feet, as we see a ride from our surfer in blue, I believe, Ruben Ash, towards the whitewater, rebounding off the foam, making it is red, it's surfer in red, Patrick Landon Dark, finding 3 really nice maneuvers as he pumps his way through, looking for an end section. He found some lovely open face on that wave, and he's still going. At least 5 maneuvers as I cast my eyes across to the left-hand side of the beach. Noah Capps, our surfer from the south coast, connecting 2 turns so far. A fast speed floater looking for the end section. Finds it. Coid Nadolig, the Christmas tree, comes out the back. Superb surfing from our surfer.
Hail Mary right there. He sent the Hail Mary.
from the south coast, Noah.
Ash takes off, does a nice swooping carve, and behind him is his brother. Big first turn, another big turn. Oh my God!
The brothers Ash going to town on the waves here at Rest Bay with just 5 minutes 40 seconds remaining on the clock. Our situation is thus in 4th place, requiring a 5.68 for first. It's Noah Capps in white. Josh Ash, you're in 3rd. You need a 5.71. Scores coming in for Patrick Langdon Dark. He will improve his position, and he shoots even further into the lead, with Ruben Ash now requiring a 6.51 to move into first.
Going into the last 5 minutes of the final.
I tell you who's got to show some skill out there now. The judges. That last wave of Ruben Ash, right? I watched that closely, zoomed in. Flat sections, huge carves. Nose pick, tail out, all fins released, jamming that board backwards down the face with the back foot.
And
that kind of Zen karate kind of stance, you know?
It's the commitment they're showing on the sections right now. They've got to go all in.
But what are the judges going to do? Flat sections, huge turns. Do they give him a score there, you know?
Well, it's not really the best wave, but if they are showing better surfing, then they might reward it. So
we're going to get the result very shortly of that wave from Ruben Ash, needing a 6 to get up there, and they gave him a 3.5. But the surfing on those turns, you know, you just get the feeling that if Ruben Ash gets the section and puts together something like that,
Big situation change.
Big situation change here. Noah Capps has jumped up into second with that last score.
He's got a 6.33. He needs a 5.18 to progress to first.
Patrick Langdon Dark in the lead. Callum can barely contain his excitement. He's going to have a new buddy on his Thurso trip.
That's the plan.
But there's guys out there who want to spoil Pat and Callum's dreams. Like Andy Irons said in Blue Horizon. Blue Crush. Blue Horizon. My whole motivation is to take his pretty little picture and just crush it. That was also said by Rob Blythe's dad the day he graduated from university. He did, he said that to me. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Ruben Ash needs a 6.51 to take this down. Entirely doable. Noah Capps needs a 5.18. Entirely doable. Patrick Langdon Dark needs to better a 5 if he wants to push himself further out into the lead. Entirely doable. Josh Ash, 6.44.
Now, would you believe it? With not much daylight left, we are going to finish the entire event in just one day. Whenever a contest runs in one day, it always gets finished in the nick of time, whether it be just in time for the high tide and the end of the surf, or just in time for dark, which is the case today, as we are here at Rest Bay, the jewel of the crown of the South Wales coast. It's all action here. Plenty of people still out and about enjoying a lovely dry day here in South Wales. Blake Jones skating down the slip, but the real action is to be found in the water.
Set on the horizon. I think there's some lumps coming in.
Rick, turn around.
With 2 minutes, 15 seconds left on the clock, it's all to play for. All surfers well in contention, with requiring a 6.44 for first.
Up and riding is, I think it's blue, big, carved to snap, but the section isn't going to stand up.
That's Ruben Ash. He does require a score to move into first. Huge finish, throws tail. Will it be enough? I'm not sure it's going to replace his top 2 waves of a 5 and a 4.7. He needs a 6.51. My initial judgment is no.
I think you go off what the judges gave that last one, you know, when it wasn't such a good section and they gave him a 3.5. Pat now on another one, and this is not such a good section either, but he's got some speed here. Really smashes that one, and this is coming through. He's still going fast. Chucks a little bit of spray. Big maneuver needed here. Not the ideal section for that big maneuver though, so again, I'd be surprised if Pat pushes that beyond a 5 as well. A lot of speed.
Coming down to the last minute remaining.
Both Ruben Ash and Pat are on the inside now, so it's going to be a big job needed to get further out and do anything about it. So we've got surfers on the inside, out there now. Noah Caps needing a 5.18. Joss Ash needing a 6.44. Everybody needs scores that are completely realistic.
And with just 40 seconds remaining, there are waves making their way into the lineup. It's all to play for. No one needs anything more than a 6.52 to progress into first. Patrick Landon Dark will be wishing time away as we move towards the last 30 seconds. £500 up for first. Up for grabs with first prize and 1,000 points to go towards the UK Pro Surf title 2019. Just 20 seconds remaining.
Pat ever won one of these before, Cal?
No, I think he got to the final of the
this is it for Pat.
One. And
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think you should give that one a third, Rob. Guys, as Patrick Langdon Dark
just won the Welsh Pro.
As Patrick Landon Dark just added to his Welsh title 2 years ago, the Welsh Pro presented by Gower College.
He's probably going to be so stoked right now.
Has he done it though? That wave of Ruben Ash.
We're just waiting on
Everything's
scores.
getting double checked. That wave of Ruben Ash needed. Here we go. Ruben Ash needed. He needed the. Let's have a look at what score he needed. He needed 6.94 at the end there because Pat did improve. Pat went to a 5.43. So Pat improved his total. It pushed Ruben Ash to needing a 6.94. Wave number 9 for Ruben Ash. Is that in? Have we got it? Wave number 9 for Ruben Ash. Do you know what? I think we should let Callum call the score for this wave. Callum, I've revealed the answer though in the way that I've suggested this to you.
I think in first place.
So what did he need? Ruben Ash needed a 6.94 because Pat pushed it up. Pat pushed it up.
We have confirmation, your Open champion of 2019.
What did he get, Cal? 6.94 for Ruben Ash. What did he need? He needed 6.94. He got
a 4.2. So Patrick Langdon Dark takes the win.
Fantastic news for the Welsh contingent here at Rest Bay. Callum, go drag your buddy out of the water. You've got to cheer him up, surely.
Oh, I'm not getting wet, but I'm going to give him a
That's
big
what
pat
friends
on the back
are for.
when he comes up here.
You're going
All
to
the
give
boys
Pat.
will sort
You're
him
going to
out.
give Pat a pat.
He's going to be so stoked right
You're
now.
going to pat.
I think all the boys back home are going to be watching. All the boys who
He was
him.
just on a tear on that right-hander in the middle of the heat, wasn't he? He just absolutely went for it.
I've seen him do that so much lately, and
he got the bit between his teeth.
He's got the edge. And that was hard to watch, hard to commentate. I apologise for any bias.
Coming in, look at this wave coming in. I think this is Joss Ash, isn't it? Absolutely demolishing this wave coming in here.
He's going to combo me now.
Oh, wow. Look at that for a Christmas tree. Coed Nadolig. Joss Ash, if he'd done that in the heat, Pat wouldn't be so happy.
No, I think.
Do you know that's it? That's the cold water Rest Bay equivalent of, you know, we were quoting North Shore. That's Vince Mowaloka coming in from the water, grabs a perfect two.
I think it's been a fantastic event, and I'd like to thank Dave and all the guys at UK Pro Surf Tour for making it such a good event.
That's right, a hearty diolch yn fawr. Pawb, thank you very much to everybody. Thank you to everybody that's come down to watch today. Thank you to all the people that have competed, to Christian Surfers for keeping us fed and watered, to Tom at Contest Control, Dave, Contest Director, all of our judges, and of course my co-commentary team, Tom Anderson.
Hey, we've still got a bit to go here because the presentation is going to be streamed. Just, you know, tell that Chinese to stay on ice, or the Indian, or whatever you've ordered. The presentation is still going to be live.
And join us in 5 seconds for the post-show.
Oh, it's going to be an epic one. I don't know who we're going to have in the booth, but it's going to be some words.
The post-show? Does that mean we have to run the credits now? You know, that kind of the exciting bit. So
after the break.
Yeah, after the break, up comes the Korev Cornish Lager van, flanked by none other than Craig Burrows. I have no idea if the cameras are filming these scenes.
We've
Absolute
got,
scenes.
Gwen Spurlock.
whatever generation you're in, you need to be responsible in the environment that you're in. We're not doing a great job because it's something that I don't remember as a kid. Community of people coming together and trying to solve this problem, and that's amazing to see. So we've got a chance to rectify it, and I see it in front of my very own eyes, and that's happening. Every business, every person, I think if we
I started wearing earplugs a couple years ago because if I didn't, my brother, dad, and my uncle have all already had
you were driving, is it? Yeah, that's what I did coming back from Norway. You know, I'd be quite glad to go back. That thing looks insane. I drove back. You go from to Inverness, you go to Children's Park, really, like Inverness. Do you remember Jeremy Wayne Evans? Yeah, maybe you watched this from, I don't know, again, now, yeah. So, once to him and Rhino, right, and we drove overnight. Presentation, guys, is going to be over by the Christian Surface tent. Yeah, no, this is a good one. We drove overnight, all night. We pulled up at 7 in the morning. Me and Rhino were meant to take over too. We both fell asleep at the back. We got there. It was inside out, like 8 to 10 foot. Yeah. Got barreled about 40 times coming back out. And then went back to the hotel at 7 for like 2 days. But you surfed for 4 hours with no sleep. Floating at 7 in the morning. It was insane. Awful. Terrifying, but it's the truth. I rode. I looked like close to 11. 30 miles of getting into England to keep that up. So if you have been watching all day, please come around to Christian Service tent to the west side of the lifestyle where we'll be having the presentation for this, the Welsh Callum Thomas, can you come to the booth please? Presented by Gower College, Swansea, UK Coach Association for down to the Christian Service tent. We're going to go down to one microphone, so try and make sure this is as much clear as possible.
on there. That's far good.
That's okay. Nice, it's actually good.
Two.
Hello, hello.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Croeso I Respe, welcome to Respe for this, the prize giving of the 2019 Welsh Open presented by Gower College Swansea. Without further ado, we're going to get into giving some results because everybody is absolutely freezing cold. But before we do that, it would be remiss of me not to make some thank yous. So, a big thank you to, of course, Gower College Swansea for sponsoring the event, putting up money to help it run. Without them, we couldn't do it at all. So, a big round of applause for them. Thank you. A big round of applause also for Corev Cornish Lager, keen supporters of the tour throughout the whole year. The Boardmasters Foundation, a huge thank you to Christian Surfers. I believe they deserve a massive round of applause. They're at every British event. We got Johnny Hillman, Ridian Brewer, and we saw an appearance from Phil Williams earlier, keeping us fed and watered. And without fail, they are here at every British event. The WSF, the Welsh Surf, the lifeguard, the judges, and everybody that's come down today. The unsung, all the judges have worked tirelessly throughout the day to them. Big round of applause, please. I'd like to mention really quickly as well, the Rest Bay lifeguards whose facilities we've used on and off throughout the day. The Welsh Coast Surf Club, that's our local club, and Richard Knight, who actually owns the land here and allows us access throughout the year. So a big round of applause for all of those people. And we'd like now to freezing. Over to you, Tom.
And we're going to start here with the under-14 girls. So when your name is called, just head up, get your handshake, get your applause, and then if you make your way to the podium. So in 5th place, Kyan Ronhuis. So there's a round of applause there. 4th place, Ruby Lewis. So where is Ruby? I saw Ruby. Come down and collect your head down this way, Ruby, for a finalist pick. Well done, Daisy. Well done, Ruby. In 2nd place, Belle Betteridge. Which means that the winner of the under-14 girls, so head over to the podium, guys. The winner of the under-14 girls is Tegan Blackford.
Would you like to say a couple of quick words if the mic stretches?
Thank you for all the contest organisers for organising this contest, and to my dad for taking me.
In a closely fought affair, in 4th place, Archie Randall. In 4th place, Archie Randall. Arthur, I beg your pardon. Arthur, I can't understand the scroll on here. Arthur Randall in 4th place. In 3rd place, Lucas Skinner. In 2nd place, hailing from not very far away in Ogmore by the sea, it's Eli Perrin Davis. Diane, Eli. That means taking the win is Finn Gillespie. Come on down, Finn. And Finn, would you like to say a couple of words?
Thanks to all the people who run this comp, it's so sick. And thanks to my parents, and well done to all the competitors.
Diolch yn fawr, Finn. Well done.
Okay, just let these guys get a picture. And once the pictures are taken, make your way back to the crowd, guys, and we're going to call out the next category. Most of you are going to be back up here in a few seconds anyway, by the looks of it. Okay, well done, Diane. So the under 16 boys we're going to call now. So you guys are going to be almost entirely straight back up. In 4th place, Finn Gillespie. In 3rd place, Johan Pegg. In 2nd place, Kieran Smith. And the winner of the under 16 boys, Lucas Skinner. Well done. So, because we didn't have 2 winners, we can have a few words with Lucas. Lifting the trophy there. Lucas, under 16s champ, how do you feel?
Stoked. Thank you to everyone who made this event happen. Thanks to my parents for bringing me up here, and thanks to my sponsors for supporting me. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr, da iawn, Lucas. Da iawn.
We'll let them get their pictures and we'll move on to results for the under 16 girls division. In 4th place, Jess Van Wyk. I hope that's how you pronounce it. In 3rd position, Tegan Blackford. Keep those round of applause going, please, guys. In 2nd place, Aisha Sykes. Again, apologies if I'm pronouncing anything incorrectly. That means taking the win was Belle Bethridge. Gwaith da, girls, good work. And a massive congratulations. We'll see if Belle wants to say a couple of words, as she's not yet been up here. How was that, Belle?
I'd like to say thank you to all the guys that made this comp possible, and thanks to my mum and dad.
Diolch yn fawr, Belle, and and to all of the girls there as we move on to the results for the next category.
Bear in mind, after we read out these under 18s, we're going to be in a position to tell you who has won the British schools or the UK schools. So, we're going to go to the under 18 girls. In 5th place, Jess Van Wyk. In 4th place, Francesca Sayer. In 3rd place, there's Francesca, Tegan Blackford. And here we go. 2nd place, Aisha Sykes again. Well done, Aisha. And making it the double. Well done, Belle. So, Belle, you were thanking Mum and Dad just now. So now that you've made it 2 from 2, are you going to explain now? You maybe tell Mum and Dad how you're going to make it up to them in chores all week?
Yeah. Yeah.
You heard it here first, Mum and Dad. Well done, Belle.
Okay, and the results for the under 18 boys division. Of course, this will be the deciding factor in the UK Schools Champion decision. In 4th place, Sol Hawkins. That means in 3rd place, Finn Collins. In 2nd place, Noah Capps. Which means atop the podium for the 2nd time today
is Lucas Skinner taking the win there. Da iawn pawb, gwaith da. Up here for the second time this evening, Lucas, how's it?
So good.
So good is the words from Lucas. And Tom's just told me that you're going to be doing all the chores this week for Mum and Dad.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Kids today, goodness me, bobble bach.
Yeah, speaking of kids today, as the result gets read out, as the photos get taken, we have the results of the UK schools. If you haven't been able to work it out yourselves from seeing all these results come in, the winning school is Newquay Tretheras. So well done, guys. Make sure your head of year knows all about that for assembly tomorrow morning. Lucas apparently is going to come up and accept the trophy on behalf of Newquay Tretheras. There we go. Jump on the podium there. There we are, UK Schools champions. Not quite sure what happened to Porthcawl comp there, Rob. If you go to Tretheras, pile in for a picture. Okay, there we go. Well done, guys. Fabulous result. Okay, so we move on to the grown-ups. The grown-ups categories. And so, the ladies. Big prize money now then. In 5th place, Francesca Sayer. Well done, Francesca. In 4th place, Tegan Blackford. Well done, Tegan. In 3rd place, Emily Curry. In 2nd place, it's Lucy Campbell. So picking up the cheque for 500 quid with a 9-point ride, Peony Knight. Well done, guys. Johnny Hillman from Christian Surfers handing the trophy over there. Get a couple of pictures. So, Peony, picking up the big prize. You got to be stoked with that.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really happy.
It's been a busy year for you so far. How do you feel now as we go into the winter? What are your plans?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy. I'm just gonna train most of the winter and then get ready for the QS season. So yeah.
And next year we're going to be seeing you hopefully at the ISA Worlds. You're going to be aiming for one of those 6 places?
I'm going to aim for it, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed for Team GB.
If it goes anything like today, then you'll be doing great. So well done, a big hand for them all. Well done, Peony. Now then, we're going to be handing Callum's lips are frozen. But Callum is really wanting to sort of up the pressure on that prize money to have it spent on this Thursday trip. So we're going to give Callum the honour of announcing this last category.
Okay, so we're going on to the men's category, and in 4th place is Joss Ash. Well done, Joss. In 3rd place is Ruben Ash, his brother. In 2nd place, surfing really well today, is Noah Caps. And I'm announcing my best mate, Patrick Langdon Dark, with 1st place. Right, Pat, a few words before you have a picture.
Just want to thank Dave and all the UK Pro Surf Tour for another great event. Phil and all the Christian surfers, and all my mates, Carl, Logan, Evan, for supporting me all day. Obviously my dad and my mum for doing everything for me, and I just want to thank my sponsors for always supporting me, especially JP Surfboards, making my choice of what board to ride a little bit easier. But yeah, thanks for the support, and stoked.
And that, of course, concludes the 2019 Welsh Open presented by Gower College Swansea. Diolch yn fawr pawb. Thank you very much to everybody that's come down today to watch the event, to take part in the event, to run the event. All of our judges that have braved the wind and that glare all day. Our crew up at the contest control. Tom running the webcast and all the acoustics for the day. And, of course, our poor retina-burned beach marshal. Diolch yn fawr, everybody, and thanks for coming to Wales.